have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. And if anything goes wrong tonight, everyone blames EMdolphinfan because this show was his idea.
Here we go. Here we go, baby.
So, I mean, I think it was, a lot of stuff has gone on over the last couple of weeks that, just news topic worthy wise, and not just Tua with the team and Melvin Ingram, the draft. We all haven't talked really as a collective since the draft happened. So there's a lot to really talk about, not just Tua stuff, but we're going to talk about Tua stuff. You can bet. We'll wait for TD to come back before we start talking about what he shot on his last round of 18. But Dougie, TD, Mr. BallGame, the homie Martin. Oh, he actually brought his Tua.
Oh, God.
Damn, no, he didn't.
Oh, here we go.
TD broke the emergency latch. He put on the Tua jersey.
Let's go, baby!
Wow.
All right. So guys, let's before we get into all that stuff, I just wanted to quickly ask you because it's now official. Everyone thoughts on the addition of Melvin Ingram? I mean, I personally love it because it adds another layer in terms of we can see more Ogba and Phillips on one side, rotating edge and end, with Van Ginkel now on the other side. You can rotate Van Ginkel and Melvin Ingram on the other side. He's also a sneaky good run defender too. I just think it adds another real good layer to this team because I do expect a lot of cover zero, a lot of cover one stuff coming from this team, and obviously with the Ruby and the Diamond packages and all the sub packages blended in. But what are you guys' thoughts on the Melvin Ingram thing? Because, guys, we've been trying to get him. We tried to get him last offseason. He didn't want to come here. Yep. And we had a more defensive-minded, a defensive-friendly head coach at the time.
Wonder what changed his mind.
Because he probably would have had a more prominent role under Brian Flores than he would have under Boyer.
Let's be clear, bro. Let's be clear. I think it's hard for someone that's been in the league as long as Melvin's been in to come into a system where you're going to be not really allowed to be freely who you are, right? Like, all the vets really talked about the fact that Flores didn't really even talk to them. You know what I'm saying? He was more inclined to have conversations with the younger guys, the ones that are a lot more maneuverable and he can manipulate. And, Melvin really just looking to put himself with the organization that can capitalize on what he truly brings to the table, and he can just go to work every day. That's the type of dude he is. He just want to take his lunch pail, go to work on Sunday, and then let whatever happens on the field happen on the field, and just let him be a pro. You know what I mean? Trust that he's gonna show up, and he's gonna go through doing what they got to do through the week. But on Sundays, he's gonna show up and he's gonna earn his paycheck. And I just don't think that was the atmosphere that we gave off with Brian around. And now. Guys are raving about, McDaniels and how free and easygoing he is and allowing them to, just be pros. That in itself is 100% more attractive than anything Flores was was promoting. So that might be that's my opinion on it. I think that's one of the major reasons.
Well, yeah. First off, is my audio okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure? Okay. First off, I kind of want to piggyback a little bit off what BallGame touched on. I just think again, this is just speculation on my part, but I just think Melvin Ingram, he might be looking at the moves the Dolphins have made. You know what I mean? The personnel that they've already acquired, and he might have a higher level of faith in his team being able to legitimately go out and compete on Sundays. Because you look at last year, the teams that he went to, they were all he went to Pittsburgh, signed with Pittsburgh, and then he was ultimately traded to Kansas City. So those were two playoff teams. So he might have a higher level of faith in his team being able to compete from a playoff perspective this year.
The Chiefs tendered him. The Chiefs put that rare UFA tender on him, and he said, "No, I'd rather go with that roster and that staff and to that city." That's the Kansas City freaking Chiefs, man.
Absolutely.
Back to back AFC title game. So. He must have seen something.
What do you think about that? Melvin Ingram chose Tua Tagovailoa over Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's how I do this, right? That's how it
You
works?
really got me with that one. I did not expect that.
Load
That
up
was a
that
good one.
question.
That was
Load
a
it
good
up.
one. But no, in all seriousness, though, I think he's an opportunist. First of all, he didn't even get much playing time over in KC. And I think he actually is looking and saying, I can go over there and get starter minutes. I could be productive. And with that defense over there, they might be a top 3, top 5 defense in the league. And honestly, sometimes you got to make business decisions too. This is the type of defense that'll keep me relevant for another 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's 2 to 3 more paychecks, you know? So at the end of the day, I just think that it's a perfect fit. And I'm going to actually give some credit to Mike McDaniel, potentially having an element of selling him on it, because I'm just hearing too many good things about him as a coach and what he's bringing to the table to these players and convincing them to even just give their all. So my take on it.
Dougley?
Loving the depth. That's the biggest thing with bringing in Melvin Ingram. You don't have to. It's fresh. You get that fresh pass rush because, you know, we were getting sacks off of not straight pass rush. We were getting sacks off of stunts, off of blitzes, off all that stuff. And a lot of times, if we were just sending 4, these quarterbacks had so much time in the pocket for the routes and the crossing routes to get open. You now have Melvin Ingram to be throwing there. Agba's first 2 downs, you throw Melvin Ingram on the 3rd next to Phillips. Oh my God. That's the thing that I love the most. Yeah, he's up there in age and he's got some wear on those tires, but geez, the depth. You just get him, like, use Jason, like how at the end of Jason Taylor's career we used him. Use him like that. Oh, it's like 3rd and 8. Go get the quarterback for us real quick. And I love the addition. I wanted it last year, like pretty much all of us did. So I really, really love it.
Also that scheme flexibility, bro. You know what I mean? Having a player like him, being able to rush from the inside as well as the edge, that just gives you tremendous diversity overall in your application. So love the pick. Wanted to happen last year, but you know it's as long as we got him in house, the timing is perfect. So man, I love it overall. The overall move. So
what are your thoughts?
There's
Martin?
some muddiness. Oh, my bad.
No,
Let me
go
ask
ahead,
you this.
go ahead.
There's some muddiness here, and maybe y'all can clarify this for me, because I know Doug mentioned depth. Who's the depth? Because and I know the depth chart isn't all in stone. You know, there's a lot of guys with versatility, but technically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Agba is on the outside, and technically, Jalen Phillips is his backup, and Van Ginkel and Melvin. Van Ginkel and Melvin is on the other side. You saw it the other way last year because you didn't have a Melvin. So you saw Jalen on the opposite. But technically, Jalen is behind Agba.
No. It depends on what.
When you go on the power side, Jalen's on the run stop side. So
but when you go
left
base,
in, right in, left outside, right outside, left edge, right edge. But for the most part, Agba is exclusive to the right side of the field. Dealing with the left tackle, while Jalen is over on the opposite side dealing with the right tackle. You see what I'm saying?
So you said Agba is dealing with the left.
No, flip that. Flip that.
You gotta flip that.
Flip that ball game. You gotta flip that.
No.
Agba's on the power side. The power side is the right tackle / tight end side of the formation.
Yeah.
The more athletic side is the left side. The left tackle. And Jalen Phillips plays.
That's where Phillips will come off. And then Phillips takes reps in certain packages where he would be technically a Leo, if you want to go by like Pete Carroll terms or whatever.
Right.
That rush and Agba don't line up like that.
Gotcha.
So,
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
They use his athleticism more, but that's why when you saw, like, when I did my prospect preview of Phillips last year, I talked about sub packages where you could line either one up as the edge and then the other one as the end. Because obviously, Phillips did that in Miami, the Hurricanes too, right? And you saw the success they had when they ran that. But with your question about who the depth is, I honestly think the smart thing,
Van Ginkel,
just rotate Van Ginkel and Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Because you know what? I think we saw a little bit of a dip in AVG's game last year when they put more responsibility in his plate. We were seeing best of him when he was hitting that 400 to like 550 snaps. that's when we were seeing the best of AVG. When we started getting to like 600, 700, you were like, you know what I mean? And I think they should. I know BallGame and EMF talks about it. Why not flex AVG and cross-train him inside?
Absolutely. I've been calling for that for 2 years now.
Watch how they deploy Ogba this year.
But that's why I'm saying even the Miami
Watch how they
Dolphins
deploy him
have
this year.
those two guys as weak side, and they have Ogba and Jalen Phillips as strong.
Well, yeah, I mean, it all depends too, because they use Baker as a will in blitzing situations as well too, right? Like they just like the versatility is just like all chess pieces and stuff.
I'm just saying with the addition of Melvin, I think that they're seeing Jalen as a true strong, and they're not planning on putting him on the weak side this year. And their depth chart reflects it. Because why would you have him as a second string on your depth chart behind any of those guys? They could be telling you the way that they're going to operate the scheme, because they do not have him listed in that manner.
When did they release the depth chart?
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
No, the NFL they communicate with ESPN. That depth chart is what they get from the NFL. Teams have to report the depth chart.
I'll go off of when they release it before preseason, then we would get a real good idea,
Yeah, I'm just saying this is the initial.
Yeah, right now they got Seiler and Wilkins as the ends, Raekwon at nose, and then they got Van Ginkel and
At the
Ogba
week,
as
right?
Van Ginkel at the week,
and Melvin behind him.
Melvin behind him with Ogba and Phillips on the strong side.
That's why it was interesting to me that it was that way, and I'm wondering if they were using Phillips in that role because that's all they had last year.
Douglie, are you on the internet right now? Can you go to MiamiDolphins.com? Is their roster is their depth chart page blank?
I usually check in on our lads.
But the thing is, even our lads isn't official either, right? Like
they don't have
they don't have a depth chart, right?
Yeah, it's just
because I remember we do it every year. We have a show where where we talk about the depth chart release and stuff. I know there's like this big.
I know they wait till like a week before the first preseason game, and
I thought there were like 3 releases where you have to give it to the NFL.
I just know that on the site it's.
No, I think what they give to the NFL is just because technically Jalen Phillips is listed as an outside linebacker. That's his title. You know what I mean? But see what you're talking about, TD. So you got to always consider when you talk about depth chart is formationally. You know what I mean? We're a 3-4, we're a hybrid, but but the foundation of the defense is a 3-4 application, right? So I mean, I don't know where you saw that. You have to send that to me because I would like to see that.
Yeah, it's on there. BallGame sees it.
Yes,
yeah. That's why it was interesting to me. I was just wondering if that was saying something, and maybe it's just there.
It's definitely
but to be honest, I think this signing of Melvin Ingram is more in Melvin Ingram's interest than the Miami Dolphins' interest, considering that he was a high volume sack guy with the Chargers, but just like any other athlete in the NFL, there has been wear and tear, and his production has decreased significantly over the past 2 or 3 seasons. He was good with
the Chiefs last year. I gotta say, bro, he was quietly really good with the Chiefs last year.
Yeah,
he really was, man. He really was.
Steelers, he struggled a bit. Chiefs, he actually popped off a little bit.
Okay, but now that I'm seeing him signing to the Dolphins, I'm saying to myself, okay, this is definitely something more beneficial for Ingram. When he looks at who we have on our defense, he doesn't have that, or I don't think he has it as much as he used to, that organic pass rush that a lot of other players have in the league, like a TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, and like those guys off the jump, man, they can win a one-on-one, but Ingram doesn't really have that anymore. So now that he's seeing what we have in our secondary. But now that he's seeing what we have in our secondary, I think he's saying to himself, you know what, these guys can have a quarterback kind of holding on to that ball for a little bit longer than he usually would. So it might be in his benefit to be on this team and take advantage of a top 5, arguably top 5 secondary. So let
me ask you guys this. All right. We talk about no excuses with other players on the team. Are there no excuses for Josh Boyer?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, at this point, this is probably the most complete roster he'll ever see in his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
So from top to bottom, man, you look at the names and you look at what the guys can produce if they stay healthy. He has no room for any excuses. You just got to turn them loose.
It's a no excuse because we re-signed everybody. We let 0 players leave.
We added to this. We upgraded
and we've upgraded in multiple spots, including.
Bro, I'm telling y'all,
it's impossible for him to fail.
Wait till y'all see. I know some. Wait till Tyndall. Wow.
Yeah, I was talking about the fact that normally when you have like a new coach and stuff like that, you give it to like week 4 and then you really see the team because that's when they start gelling. This defense, if they're not gelling week 1, there's a problem.
I agree.
Yeah.
They kept everything. They kept everything the same. Re-signed everybody. They made additions in terms of personnel. There shouldn't be, barring any kind of catastrophic, let's knock on wood, barring any kind of catastrophic injury-related, problems. They should be ready to go. All systems go week 1. All systems go week 1.
Listen, bro. In all actuality, if you look at let's just say tentatively, the starters, they've all lost defense faces. And then in the second level, the only new face is Tyndall and Ingram, but Ingram brings a completely different experience base to it. So there's really no fall off there. Should be anyway. And all of the guys that are on the second level played significant minutes last year.
I agree.
So,
I actually look at Ingram and
they got Trill at free safety.
Yeah, I look at these two as and I heard yesterday someone who was at OTAs told me that Connor Williams got a heavy dose of center reps yesterday at OTAs. Dude, I'm telling you, man, like Tyndall too and Ingram. Tyndall's our best run defender on the second level, and he hasn't even played an NFL snap. Like, he's got way better instincts, takes way better pursuit angles. He read and recognizes way better than Landon Roberts and Baker do, and he's more athletic than Baker, and he hits just as hard as Landon Roberts. Bro, I think you're going to see him take a lot of. I think initially you're going to see him a lot in the Duke Riley and Sam Iguavin deployment. That's why I think you're going to see him early. And when Josh Allen comes to town, spy, baby, spy.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark. My bad, bro.
Nah, I was just going to add on from an aesthetic level. Tyndall, they said, just from the look of it, he reminds everyone of like Patrick Willis. I don't like putting that type of comparison on him.
Jesus, that's
let's pump the brakes. Hey,
remember that?
Break just a little bit now. Come on now.
Okay, hold on. He is too much of a projection in coverage right now to make that player comp right now, man. He doesn't.
Yeah. I'm purely talking about the instinct, the shooting of the gap, and just his sheer tackling ability.
Yeah,
it's like that's very reminiscent of like how
he
Patrick
hits hard
Willis
and he raps well.
Yeah, like but Patrick Willis, his biggest advantage was just from the neck up. He just had so much.
Yeah.
Like.
Bro, that's why I think Tyndall, even though he had such a small sample size in coverage, when you see his instincts in the run game, you see the angles he takes in open field, you just see instances of him showing his high football IQ. You're like, okay, he just needs reps in coverage. That's all he needs. And I mean, he got the most amount of, I think he only had like 60 or 70 coverage reps leading into this season. And then he had like 200 this season.
Because he's got that. I mean, man, he's got all the athleticism in the world, bro.
Oh, yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? So he's easily probably
better athleticism than Baker and a smarter player.
Absolutely. More physical player as well.
Yeah, and he ain't afraid of contact.
From an interior standpoint, he's easily the most athletic linebacker I think we've ever had. Would you say? What would you say, BallGame?
Yeah. From an athletic standpoint, yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. And the fact that you can, if he learns this offense and you can take responsibility off Baker's play, we know how this is going to start. They're going to put a bunch of responsibility on his play to start this year. Then they're going to see it ain't going to work. They're going to wean him back off of it. But if you can go into the season where Tyndall is your Mike, and it's not going to be this year, it's not going to be till like year 2 or year 3, where he's known, and Baker, instead of thinking, can just react. you're probably going to get better play. And the athleticism you'd have between on that level, and who knows what they'll add in that time, would be crazy.
I agree. Well, look at, you can just, kind of piggybacking off what you just said, Reason. You saw when Jerome Baker's not your first responder, and you put him in his role like where he is now, you're getting tangible production out of him.
Agreed.
So he's doing that with Landon Roberts. Now imagine if Kendall once he gets completely acclimated, and obviously you can project a higher upside, obviously, than Landon Roberts.
Oh, for sure.
Think about how much better Baker can be with a more athletic version, with a more instinctive version in the middle of this defense. So I agree with you 110%, bro. 110%.
And I'll give up some in coverage just to have that ability to just shoot gaps and make, tackles for losses all day, man. The kid's upside is huge.
If you are stifling teams to 1 yard, loss of 1, it's 3rd and 9. The goal is to take away everything they want to do on the ground and force them to play into your strengths. If that front seven can effectively execute that plan on a consistent basis, this defense
that's why they need to go get Akeem Hicks like yesterday.
Whoa.
So that's what I was going to ask y'all. I want to ask y'all, and I'll start with you, TD. JC Treader or Akeem Hicks? You can only sign one.
Dang.
I'd rather have 100%. Oh, go ahead, TD. I'm sorry.
I got to be honest with you. I would go JC Treader. And the reason why, you cannot have a season where you don't do everything possible around your quarterback. I know what Hicks will do for this defense, but again, just like Mike McDaniel said, even if that means sacrificing on defense for the offense to be that much better, this season I am banging the table. Dolphins, go get JC Treader. And okay, we'll deal with the right tackle situation. But at least know that 4 guys on your O-line is going to do their job for sure. At least know that. Because if Tua has special in him, this is the only way. Because I am not going to sit here and tolerate 5 months from now the middle of the line getting blown up. Because the one thing nobody's talking about, Dieter held his own last year.
Okay.
But remember, defenses were game planning for the edges. They can't game plan for that left edge now. So now they're going to have 2 different vocal points. They're going to come up the middle now in the opposite side. So the teams in the previous years, they were attacking those edges every play. Now you think they're going to attack Armstead side?
Or Connor Williams?
There ain't much to be gained in the middle of the offense,
but
though.
it's a lot easier, even if you're deficient on the interior, it's a lot easier to slide protection and overcompensate for what you don't have on the interior than you do the edges. So I don't think center. Me personally, I'm going with Akeem Hicks. No shade to JC Treader. No shade to him at all. He's a phenomenal player, but I think Michael Dieter, given another year, right, being at that primary position, learning that position, I think Dieter, with the improvement on the left side, because how many times last year when Dieter had to overcompensate for what he didn't have at the left guard and the left tackle type position last year? You saw it every week. You don't have to worry about that now. So now the application will be easier for him. You go get Akeem Hicks. Think about this for a minute. You have nothing. We saw what happened to this defense when Raekwon Davis went down last year in week 1. We saw that, right? I love John Jenkins, but I personally think John Jenkins is way past his prime. They re-signed him, but I'm a little concerned about John Jenkins being your primary, backup to Raekwon Davis at that zero technique. You go get Akeem Hicks. He is, first off, I think if you go get Akeem Hicks, he gonna get starter minutes. He's not a backup. He's not a depth piece. He is a starter and a dominant starter at that position, I might add, in this league. No, he's going to be more impactful for you. If Raekwon Davis goes down again, and if the offense in particular gets off to a slow start, we have a major injury to Raekwon Davis. Oh, my God. It's going to be a replay of what happened we saw last year. I don't want that.
All I'm saying is,
he's going to be more impactful on this team this year.
All I'm saying is 2 years ago, we watched the center going backwards on every play, and every time the guard tried to pull, he was running into a center. Whole run game gone.
Yeah, but that's 2 years
That
ago. I get what you're saying, TD, but
I
that's
think
not the
y'all
same.
are underestimating the game plan with Dieter last year. He was not attacked by defenses last year up that middle, pushing. They were coming on the edges because that's where the free money was to be made.
And the other thing you saw with Dieter last year when you broke down the film was, remember BallGame, I was pointing it out when me and Martin were doing it. When Reader came in, you saw they were doing silent counts and they were doing more complicated stuff that you could do with someone who understands the position, knows the position, and has the IQ for the position, because Dieter's just not there yet. No matter how much anyone likes his projection, the problem with Dieter is all the reps you're supposed to get in high school and college, they're giving to him now at the NFL level.
He's catch up right now. He is.
That's the issue.
But he might be another year.
He's arguably flanked by two.
And think about him, a year under
without
him,
a shadow of a doubt,
but
can hold
think
their
about
own
this.
to help him.
A year with him learning under Treader. That, you know, I mean,
Yeah, but
Dieter
they
could
don't-
be your
That's
guy
how I'm
next
looking
year.
at it.
But they haven't even made an offer to him, right? Or if they
No,
did, it was one that,
No. I heard they checked in. I reported this for months. I heard they checked in, asking price was too high. They didn't make an offer. And then I've heard he's not a fan of the Miami Heat.
Why are we playing though? I want y'all to think about that. Why are we playing about the O-line? You see what I'm saying? Well, yeah, but what if it don't work out? What if Dieter is a disaster this year?
TD, I think they checked in, but bro, you got to look at it this way.
No,
TD.
not JC.
No, but let's just talk about
why
JC.
are we playing about Dieter? What if he's a disaster?
Yeah,
what if he's a disaster?
Why would he wasn't a disaster last year? Why would he be this year with more improvement, with more better talent around him?
Defenses were focused on the edge all last year. Every blitz, everything. We barely got it up the middle. Barely.
Well, you know what screwed us.
And also, what you're discounting, TD. He's in a system. He's in a scheme that better suits his skill set.
Right.
We all know Dieter is not a gap type, power phone booth type of player, bro. So no, I
that's why you got to worry about Treader too.
That.
That's a Treader with two in our zone blocking. Are the knees going to hold up? Right?
See,
because
at least you have a backup in Dieter if they don't.
No,
but
I
who's
agree
our
with that,
backup
100%.
now? Who's even the backup?
Bro,
we're not even talking about that.
Exactly. That's why I'm not putting stock into the Connor Williams thing, because people are like, "Oh my God, he's starting." I'm like, guys,
no.
Look at the depth chart. We don't even have an emergency guy. What are we going to start that kid from Brazil that we've been trying to like get something out of for like 4 years? You know what I mean?
I know, right? And also, I know we're talking about center right now. I got to be honest. Reason why we talked about this the other day, I told them I'm more than comfortable with every move that Mike McDaniels has made, but their approach to cross training Connor Williams as a center, I think he is playing with fire, because what they need to be doing is cross training him as a left tackle, because they have nothing behind Teron Armstead.
Cross-train Kinley. He's lost 30 pounds. Apparently, I've told people he's not a scheme fit, but if he's lost these 30 pounds and he's quicker on his feet and he can pull better, then let's see what he can do in action. Cross-train this. What are we doing with them, bro? He's just sitting there.
We have no depth on the entire O-line.
Well, here's the deal, right? I mean, obviously, we want a better center. That seems to be the consensus.
And I wanted to say this on BallGame. This is what I was trying to say about the Treader thing. I think okay, first of all, we can all agree if Tom Brady didn't come back, the current center in Tampa Bay would be our center right now, okay? Number one. Number two, they did there's a reason why no other teams are coming out here for Treader as well. Right? It's because his asking price right now, it's more than what people are willing to give to a guy who's shot knees and isn't going to practice throughout the week and only suit up on game time. That's where that's at, I think. Anyways, go ahead, Bobby.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, we can all agree that we want a better center option, but like, can't make a guy come. You feel me? So at the end of the day, you kind of gotta hope that this coaching staff that he's put together can do all of the other things. I don't think athletically across the board we're missing anything. I think it's technique at this point.
That's what it is, yeah.
So he brought in guys that have been known to be technicians to help fill in the gaps for these guys. And I truly think that's going to be the difference. We didn't have any coaching. We didn't have any coaching last year, bro.
Armstead was working with the guys after, like Larnell Coleman, Robert Jones. After, I think he'll take Austin Jackson down to Duke Mayweather and Allen, Texas next year. But like, we kind of like, See, I
Coaches
kind of
gonna
agree
be
with TD on this. Like, and I've said this to EM. Shore up 4. So it's like with the conversation we've had with Richmond BallGame where I've asked him about this. And he said, if I only know pressure's probably coming from one spot, I got a feel for that spot. If I know it's going to be, off the edge, up the B gap, up the A gap, then I don't know where the hell it's coming from. And
then how do you get to 4 though?
minimize his leaks.
Right? How do you get to 4?
Okay, this is if it's not, and if not,
you can't get JC. If JC
I got an answer for you, bro. I got an answer for you, bro. Here's the thing.
My bad.
Names always get cut in training camp. There's always surprise cuts because someone emerged. If it's a right tackle or center, jump all over it.
That's going to be the route that they have to take then because the dude
they better not go
doesn't
get
want to come to South Florida,
another man,
and he only wants to practice minimally and just show up on game day. You can't build continuity with the rest of these young kids up front.
I agree
doing that. It's not going to work.
I'm still kind of riding with EM on this when it comes to let's see what we have in Michael Dieter, because last year, if you look at our offensive line, there were only 2 guys on that offensive line consistently that I had some faith in, and that was Robert Hunt and Michael Dieter. Even though Michael Dieter wasn't like, all pro or what have you, he had his hiccups, but that was still his first true year as a true center. And I'm more so of we have coaches in house now that can highlight all the things that Dieter missed from what he did not have last year in coaching. And if he has enough, if he puts in enough time, I think Dieter might turn out to be one of those solid pieces to fulfill that final 4 from left side to the right
guard. Really
guard.
just got to be above average, bro.
Man,
you got to be confident.
He just has to be confident and above average. Williams and Hunt are going to do exactly what they need to do. Armstead is going to make his money. And then whoever's at the right tackle, you can show up for that. All he has to do is be above average and don't get blown.
And really, average will get it done, bro.
I think
with improved talent around you,
EM,
average will get it done.
Even I've told EM, if you can't upgrade them, continue the investment. Don't go trade for a number 2 or number 3 stringer and try to bump them up the depth chart. But Dougie, let's hear your thoughts, bro. Everyone, we haven't heard your thoughts on Dieter.
I want GC Treader. His injury history does worry me, even though he played like the whole season through it. He just didn't practice because Dieter, like we were talking about, Dieter, he's getting it, but he's not getting it. Like he was ranked, 28th out of 39 starting centers. So it's like, he's down there, but like T even mentioned, they didn't really blitz him up the front, but when they did, there was a lot of times too had nowhere to step up because Dieter was just getting pushed back to the front of him. So it's like in a perfect world, we'd have, our front 4 minus the right tackle just be set where, Tua can do whatever he needs to. We have a run game, all that stuff. But what worries me, and you guys have said this, is it's Dieter. And then we have like an undrafted free agent that's a guard/center. That's it. Like, and Dieter can't stay healthy.
They got rid of Ty Clary. Ty Clary's gone. He failed physical.
So we have nobody.
Nothing. We have nothing.
And look at it this way: if you go and get a center, can't Dieter play center and guard?
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't have depth. And another thing that nobody's talking about, everybody worried about JC Tretter's injury concern. Hell, Tyreek Hill. I mean, not Tyreek Hill, the Teron Armstead. He go down the ship over.
Me and EM were talking about that yesterday. Actually, it's funny because
people don't realize have a JC, so you can have some dignity on the line.
Nobody's saying don't go. Nobody's saying don't address the position. I'm talking about if Chris Greer is sitting here and he's got $6 million to allocate
one
to
or
either
another.
a Team Hicks or JC Tretter.
We got 16 million. Keep going.
I am going to make that investment and that proof. And again, there's no shade at Tretter, bro. I think Akeem Hicks. I think. I seriously doubt they get both. Hopefully they do. I mean, I would love that. But I'm just saying, I think Dieter. If I would go with Hicks, and I would just focus and bank on Dieter's upside with the improved coaching, with improved personnel around him. Because again, you don't need him to be all pro for this overall offense to be productive. You just need him to be average. And I think Dieter is more than capable of doing that.
Yeah. Did we not have this conversation literally yesterday where I said, okay, he's good for missing 3 games, what do we do for those 3 games? We literally had that
Who is that?
conversation
Who?
yesterday.
Who?
Teron
Armstead.
Armstead. We know he's good for missing 3 games. I
3-6.
said they better not be in the playoffs, A. But B, what do you do? I mean, you got to get Eichenberg and Austin Jackson up to speed. And then what? Because this is what I said to him. Think about this one for a sec. Think about this. You're going to start the guy at left tackle who loses out to the guy at right tackle. Think about that one for a second.
That's why
shivers up your spine. I don't know what will.
That's why those reps that they're cross-training Connor Williams with, you need to give him those reps at left tackle.
That's what
because behind Armstead, he's the most athletic player on this offensive line. I think that is a better investment in terms of repetition at this point in time.
For that game. That's all. You got to make adjustments. You got to just bubble screen the shit out of them, get it in the space, and just
this season is about Tua Tagovailoa.
He's gonna be all right.
Making sure that you take care of him in every way you possibly can. The defense will still be top 10 without Akeem Hicks if I had to choose.
If somebody goes down, so you're telling me this defense, we saw it last year, TD. Raekwon Davis goes down, the entire defense, foundationally, philosophically, the whole 9 collapsed the first part of the season. Raekwon Davis comes back, we see the gradual uptick in overall production. How can you see it with a straight face and say that?
I got the perfect answer for you, EM. What was the outcome? So, but if you do that on the offensive side of the football, you can win that one more game.
Bro, but what if listen, you're going to need we're talking about starting the season. We're going to need, because even with all the additions that they brought in, all the personnel that they made to change it schematically, the whole 9. Man, I think it's safe to say that the defense is still the strong suit of this team right now. Because we don't know what that offense is going to look like week 1. It's going to take time for it to gel and get up to speed. So no, I'm trying to reinforce this defense as much as possible because I don't want a replay of that. Damn, Raekwon went down to in the second quarter of the New England game last year. No, I'm not playing with that. Go get a Akeem Hicks who's going to be more impactful on this team.
I would love Akeem Hicks with Christian Wilkins just roasting the interior of every offensive line we go up against, because those 2 are the most playful, like just as far as dry humor type of dudes. I don't know if you
guys have looked at it historically the last 2 years, when Wilkins has missed games, our run defense has taken has suffered too.
Yeah. Hold on, let's get something straight.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
We lost 2 games of bad coaching last year. So.
Is Akeem Hicks gonna start over Raekwon, EM?
He could. He's been a better player.
He will, I believe.
He probably will. Yeah. He probably will.
Nothing wrong with that.
So
there's nothing wrong with that.
So hold on. Which one is more beneficial? A Raekwon or a Theater? Which one you got more faith in their position?
Raekwon.
That'll be Raekwon Davis.
Thank you. Then let's go for wherever the weakest area is. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you can't get the guy, if you can't get the guy,
how you can get the guy?
How?
Give him the money. Give him the money.
Listen, they're not gonna price themselves out and pay to come. Listen, for one,
do what it takes.
Yeah, I'm not paying no dude.
Look at how much you don't win in. Look at how much you don't win in. Go in.
But for him to not
do something special this year.
For him to not practice and then just show up on game day.
Bro, you got $16 million. Go get them 2 players and call it a day and let's win a Super Bowl.
What's Trader's beef with the Heat though? Like he's like, I don't like the Miami Heat.
No. What I heard was because of the not practicing during the week. He's worrying about his conditioning come game day. That he's going to be blown up. He's going to be
the physical heat, not the game team.
Think of it. He's going to be sitting out most of training camp. He'll be working on the side. He won't be practicing during the week when we do have practices. So he feels he's going to get blown up by the second half in the heat. That's what it's a more of a conditioning thing because he can't practice. because
Give him the offer anyway.
What he
And
need
if,
to do is
and
just
if all
go ahead
that
and
and if
retire.
all that is if that report is accurate, do you really want to be paying
I
this
don't really
man
wanna deal with that.
$6-7 million, bro?
Well, that's
I'm
why
not fooling with that. His
buddy,
heart ain't even in it to
but
begin with.
dude, that's why no team is ponying up the money right now because
Right.
I think he's pricing himself out of everyone
And
right
that
now.
price will eventually do what? Go down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just be there.
He ain't
That's
committed
all
to
I'm
being
talking
out there-
about.
If he ain't committed to being out there with his teammates to help
I
them
don't
all
want him
get
on the
better
team,
around
bro.
him, I don't want him.
I don't want him on
Sorry.
the team.
It is what it is.
If you get him
I
on the
feel like
team, it
you-
doesn't hurt to add like if you get him at your price, that doesn't hurt to add that.
Man, I don't care what you do. Go trade for a good center. Just get the position solidified. That's the point. Y'all got to think about it. What if your center is a failure and he make your quarterback look bad? We going through that again? This
I
is
don't think
supposed to be
Dieter-
the year.
I don't think
I just don't think Dieter's gonna be that bad, bro. I don't.
Right. I think we're undervaluing like Dieter's impact, considering last year we just didn't have like solid pieces
we were
around.
horrible last year. Robert Hunt was the only ray of light.
Next to him.
Robert Hunt, and then Dieter was a very not a very close, but he was
the second best lineman we had.
Reliability, yeah. And again, when you bring in Connor Williams,
and he missed 7 games.
Taron Armstead,
O-line that ain't saying much. Being
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, you bring in Connor Williams, you bring in Taron Armstead, you bring in a whole slew of offensive line coaches. I mean, you can just.
And now who's the target?
We got a coach for every position on the line, right?
And now who's the target? Now who's the target on the O-line?
Well, we don't know yet.
The right tackle in the center.
But isn't that a good thing for Dieter to be?
That all depends if Robert Hunt goes to right tackle. That all depends. Right?
Yeah.
If Robert Hunt goes to right tackle, well, we're having somewhat of a different conversation.
And then
we'll see how that plays
really
out.
got a problem at the center position because one of your anchors gone.
Yeah.
If Robert Hunt goes to the right tackle, who are you putting on the right side of him?
You can put Kinley over there.
You can put Kinley over there, but that is a drop from Hunt. And now you got Dieter, Kinley. Pretty much, you could argue the same level at this point.
But again, TD, listen. When you shored up 2 spots, the entire left side is on paper, right? Solidified. Armstead, Connor Williams. So even if they're below average or they're struggling at times, again, from a schematic standpoint, you can always overcompensate in terms of, leaving a running back on that side of the formation, sliding the line to the right side. It gives you more options to overcompensate for what you don't have.
Yeah.
So in that alone right there is going to help the overall improvement of the O-line, bro.
And you do have a solid anchor
Where you
inside
at,
the right guard spot.
I'm just a skeptic. Until Dieter does
I
it,
think Hunt takes the next step this year. Takes the next step this year.
I wouldn't move him. I wouldn't move him. He's an all-pro. I think he's gonna be an all-pro at guard.
And to be honest, I think this offense is going to transition into a heavy run game regardless. So that's actually in Dieter's strength. Dieter is a really good run blocker. He makes people move, bro. And again, if we're committing to that, then you hit the play action passes. I mean, I think we're underestimating Dieter's potential jump this year, bro. I think he might have a legitimate jump to where we're not even mentioning his name during games because he's just doing his job. So yeah.
And if we're overestimating,
that's all you want him to do is just do his job.
If we're overestimating,
you're right.
I think Dieter will be fine. I think Dieter will be fine as long as he's not battling any kind. I guess this applies to any player. As long as they're not battling any kind of nagging injuries or anything that could really, hamper their overall production, Dieter gonna be fine, bro. He'll be fine.
All I'm saying is, if you got the money, spend
Chris
it.
Greer, go get a King Hicks, baby. Go get a King Hicks.
If you were to pick 2 areas on this team, because we got enough money to get Hicks and both of them pretty much, but they need to spend that money and go solidify both of those positions.
Dougley, people want to hear you.
I'm concentrating on the offensive line. Like, I understand where you guys are coming from with Akeem Hicks and helping the defense and getting depth there, because like you said, we've seen the production drop when Christian Wilkins went out, the run game production dropped, Raekwon Davis as well. But it's like we're so close to having a good offensive line, and my video yesterday, or no, today, I put a video out ranking the run games for the AFC East. Do you know how much flack I got because I ranked the Dolphins 4th? People honestly got mad at me because I ranked the Dolphins, as of right now, today, ranking the AFC East teams and their run games and their run production. I had the Dolphins 4th, and I got so much flack for
Even
that.
Buffalo back? You put Buffalo over us, Doug?
Yeah, because
Really?
Buffalo they almost had a 1,000-yard rusher on their team.
Well, Josh Allen alone.
He had
And
700
they added James Cook. And they added James
You had
Cook.
the Patriots ahead of us.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, because you had Devin Singletary 870 yards, you had Damian Harris 929 yards.
Yeah.
That last year, and then you added what we added. No guy broke 600 rushing yards. Now,
Who was your top 3 teams, or are you just talking about the East?
Well, I'm just talking about the AFC East.
Oh, okay.
Where'd you have Brees Hall and the Jets?
See, what I was doing was I wasn't trying to predict the future with these guys.
You're just going off what last year?
So I'm going off of what I already know.
Did the Jets have a way better running game than us? Because I haven't even looked at that.
They were 27th ranked. The Dolphins were 30th ranked. It was very minuscule.
We got killed at contact, right? We couldn't create after contact. We were one of the worst in the league.
You had the Patriots.
You blew on Myles Gaskin. He was down, man. Shit.
The Patriots were 8th ranked. And the Bills were 6th ranked, but I put the Patriots above Buffalo because 763 yards came from Josh Allen on scramble. So I was like, that's a huge discrepancy there.
Josh Allen has 700 yards from
yes, sir.
763
last year.
We'll see. That's what that right there was the reason why I wouldn't.
Shut up! I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either.
Jalen Hurts
I
over
did not know
900.
that either.
Well, I know that. I know her.
And that wasn't from RPOs. That was from him just taking off when the play broke
Quarterback
down.
design hike run. So he is in the run game. You can count those as true running plays.
If you would have told me 400, I'd have been like, yeah, okay. Jesus.
700 yards.
Wow. So when I'm looking at this offensive line for the Dolphins, I want 2016.
And fellas, can we talk about how Buffalo, bro, like that's gonna be a huge mountain to overcome, bro. If we can find a way to beat Buffalo, because I think Josh Allen he's reached that point to where he's that dude, bro. I
think we have the personnel, bro. We shut Josh Allen down last year.
Everything we need to do the job.
The problem is Flores was getting out coached by, well, not Flores, but Flores and his staff would continues to get out coached by McDermott and his staff.
Yeah,
every fucking year.
If we're able to play true complementary football, we get an uptick in production overall with the offense to go with the defense. I think I like our chances this year against Buffalo.
Well, and people need to show up. People need to show up because that 20-20 win in your in game. AVG was the only one who walked off that bus that day. No one on
everybody else was definitely on the bus.
It was brutal, man.
Like a lot of people want to put that Bills game on too. That was the whole team did not show up.
Oh yeah, for sure. A
touchdown in 2 plays.
You know what the reality thing is, bro. And anyone who played sports will tell you this: when a team looks unprepared and it looks like only one guy comes off the bus, that's a coaching thing. They didn't get him ready for that. They didn't get him amped up for that, man.
Tennessee game.
Like if one player doesn't show up,
they don't take no buses this year.
Or I know, I hope if one player doesn't show up or a couple players don't show up, okay, cool. I'll put that on the players. But when like 52 out of 53 men don't get off the bus,
they checked out. They checked out. They clearly checked out.
Because even Needham had a bad game, and Needham was lights out that year, bro.
Yeah.
And Isaiah McKenzie gave him the work.
How much confidence?
Oh yeah.
How much confidence y'all got in Mike McDaniel calling plays this year?
110% confidence.
I
think because we have the same defense in place. I think because we have the same defense in place. And I think what now we're going to see that mix of the Shanahan offense with a vertical threat and a speed threat that's never been seen before, condensed sets to kind of disguise a lot of stuff. I honestly think, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, there's going to be a learning curve for defensive coordinators. There's no film on what they're about to see right now. I think by the end of this year, we're going to be averaging between 28 to 30 points a game.
I feel
28 to 38?
28 to 30.
Oh,
28 to 30.
Which would put us in top 5.
Yeah, that's what we're going to need right there.
So, hey, hang on. So you're on the record right now, reason saying we're gonna have a top 5 offense this year. That's
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
But there's a caveat. It's because this is why I compare it to the Wildcat thing. I compare it to the Wildcat, but minus the gimmick. How we caught everyone off guard. I really think he's looked at it as okay. The Shanahan offense, he's seen what it's done in the NFC. He looked to what's worked in the AFC the last couple of years, and the Kansas City Chiefs laid the blueprint. Speed kills. And he said, okay, if I combine this with that and I make it my own, I'm going to come in that AFC with something they haven't seen yet before. And if we were to see Belichick twice in 10 weeks, I would be worried. But we don't see him till later on, right? So, I don't think Belichick will even have a grasp on us till the second time around. You might see him come out in the second half of the first game. We'd see him with some adjustments, but by then, go back to the Lamar game against our defense. When by the time they started adjusting to the cover zero, it's too late. I'm taking the same thing offensively. I just think we're going to.
God, I hope you're right.
Because here's the thing, EM.
God, I hope you're right.
Because once you catch up with what we're doing and what our foundation is, now I start throwing wrinkles. Now I start throwing wrinkles at you, and now you got to adjust to that.
If you haven't watched,
you're right.
If you haven't watched Brian Baldinger break down Mike McDaniel, his offense, he did it so perfectly. Where he showed you a play that Mike McDaniel ran, and then he showed that the defense recognized the play, so they adjusted to it, and Mike McDaniel literally just flipped it, and the defense didn't know what. He literally just flipped the play. And the defense didn't know what the hell was going on.
Well, who flipped it? Pre-snap?
Mike McDaniel.
No, what you
the play?
Yeah, so you probably gave him the same look, but it was
okay.
But when you send him off false keys, right? It's like McVay's known for doing it and shit like that. Like where they've started adapting that from with the Ravens, right? And what they do is what I think we're going to see too is you're going to see a shit ton of motion. But we're going to see a lot more motion at the snap than we've ever seen before. It's not just going to be before the snap. You're going to see a lot of motion at the snap. Because that helps you set your false keys even better.
Listen, I don't have as much concern about Mike McDaniel's in terms of game plan preparation. See, preparing the game plan and executing in real time are two totally different things. He doesn't have an extensive background in being the guy calling the plays on play-by-play on Sundays. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not sitting here saying that he's, we won't have a productive offense. He won't have a level of success, but he's just never been in that situation before. I can't go 100%. I'm about.
Well, Big O had that San Francisco reporter on, and she confirmed that he did call plays at points for San Francisco last year, right?
Well, what you'll see.
Well, at points, but he wasn't the primary guy.
If you can call it for a half, you can pretty much call it for a game. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Here's the kicker. So
we saw Godsey call a good play. We saw Godsey and Studsfield call good plays for a half, and then totally collapse in the second half. So
I'm gonna.
That's a lot easier said than done.
I got 2 letters for you if we're gonna go that comparison. IQ, and I'm gonna leave it there, bro.
That's foul, bro. Hey, but to be honest,
we only got 10 minutes before TD's out of here, bro. We got to ask about this last round of 18 and if he saw 2 on the course.
No, but I saw that video with Tyreek Hill going to Tua's house.
The dog?
No, I didn't see. I saw the dog.
Oh, you didn't see the
that
dog?
Ain't what I was paying attention to. I was looking on the right
I
side.
was distracted. I
was looking at the.
I wasn't even paying attention to the dog, to be honest with you.
I was looking at the projector with the simulated golf in his house. So that's what I noticed.
All right, so because I know EM's got feelings on this too. So your guys' thoughts on the whole golfing thing? I mean,
about that. I told you on the podcast the other week that I think that's amazing. I think it's awesome that he has a sport that he can go to take his mind off of football. You know what I'm saying?
On game day, ball game. On game day, ball game.
This is what I'm going to ask ball game. I want to ask ball game this then, okay? Ball game. Yes. I heard, and I'm going to put his name out there too. Alf Arteaga from 3 yards per carry heard the same thing from someone inside the organization. I heard he was good to go for the Colts game. Okay. He was held out longer than he should have been. Yep. No one was listening to him in the organization. All right. All because there's levels to this shit. All right. Okay. So he says to himself, because I think we can all agree he didn't go about it the right way. I think we can all agree about that. But his whole
That's
thing was,
my thing.
I'm going to send a message that going above Flores, you know, that, okay, I'm going to go to Stephen Ross and Greer. He's going to have questions to answer. They're going to say, why did you put this kid on IR when he's healthy enough to go out? What he did was he put Brian Flores in the fire. And then when you turn to him in the second half and he carries and he helps you win, doesn't carry you, but he helps you win. The defense was the number one star in that game, but he helped them. Okay. I mean, now you got even more questions to answer. So I think we all agree he didn't go about the right way. But do you agree with the fact that a message clearly no one was listening to him?
Mm-mm.
Listen,
I think y'all, I think y'all y'all digging way too deep into the situation, bro. Listen. Go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
When the word comes down the pipe and the kid is told he ain't playing, he's feeling a certain type of way about it. I don't have no problem with him going out and proving that they were wrong about him not being able to play. You feel me?
Here's my question. It was the Ravens game, right?
Yeah.
He played golf.
They'd already told him that he wasn't going to play.
He told the week before he wasn't going to start, and I talked to people.
Wait.
Nick Hicks, I talked to people in his camp.
Hold on.
He didn't get any reps. They gave him
What does starting have to do with anything?
So which game was it? Was the Ravens game or which game was it? I'm thinking it was the Ravens game.
The Ravens game.
Here's my thing, right? The Ravens game. It's a night game. 8:20 start.
Yeah.
You got to be at the stadium, 5 o'clock, give or take? Like, let's give it like
2 rounds, bro. And be
man, why are we saying it's the Ravens game?
Hold on.
Why are we saying that? Why are we saying that?
That's
Because
my
it was
question.
night game
I'm a
and it's the
little
only
proud
game it would have worked?
No, because multiple sources said it was the Ravens game.
Why? What report?
Big O said it.
What Big O got that from?
From him.
No,
ball game. Real talk. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, ball game.
Bro, well, there wasn't just Cam. I'll say this.
Okay, hold on.
It wasn't just Cam Wolf on the course. There were other people into his camp that were on the course as well. And they've all confirmed that it was the Ravens game.
Let me get this straight, TD. So it was a 1 o'clock game. So you're telling me for a 1 o'clock game, you have to be at the stadium, let's say 10 o'clock in the morning. You're going to tell me that Tua got up, hit some golf balls, then went to the stadium by 10 o'clock?
No.
So he was late.
No, see, when people saying going to play golf, they automatically assume this man is going to play holes. This man was on a golf course before. I can go to a range and they're gonna say you're on the golf course.
Wolf said that he played a few holes with him.
On the day of the Ravens game, Cameron Wolf said, yeah, I was out there on the Ravens game in that morning playing golf with Tua.
He confirmed it, yes.
Cameron Wolf, can you show me that?
Sure, I'll see
if
I can find it
if
for
you can show me Cameron Wolf saying I was on the golf course with Tua on the morning of the day that the Ravens played the Dolphins.
But I want to hear how it was possible for him to play golf. So
that's the problem. Everybody ran with the narrative, Doug, of him being on the golf course.
He shot some golf
bro.
balls.
No, yeah, bro. I can go to a range for 30 minutes as far as I care. I'm saying to you is
when does he have the time before 1 o'clock game to hit some golf balls?
And I think someone said in the comment, Wolf confirmed it on a Big O show too, by the way.
And all I'm asking is to see that. That's all.
I'm just saying it's in the comments. Dennis Akers.
I'm just trying to figure out what the issue with it is.
And that's what I really want to get to, ball game. That's
really ball game. Ball game, really.
Hold on. That's what I want to get to.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna go in on you, ball. I'm upset right now. Go ahead, TD.
Go ahead. You can't go in on me.
I got something for you. Go ahead, TD.
Playing golf in general, that was just a moment for people to troll, including myself, by the way. That's just nobody cares. Okay, he's doing what he's doing in all time. People trolling him. But I am sorry. I don't care if you are told that you are not going to be the starter. All of those games, he was listed as the backup so that if the starter got hurt, he was coming in to play.
He was on IR for the Colts game. He was on IR. We couldn't because remember.
But hold on, I thought it was the Ravens game.
I said he was able to start from the Colts game on. He was healthy enough to start.
Yeah, but this is what are we talking about right now? We're talking about him playing before a game that he is the backup quarterback is supposedly if it's the Ravens, right? He's the backup quarterback. He's not on IR anymore. He is. If Jacoby Brissett goes out, he will play, and he's playing golf that morning.
And he's so
and y'all have no issue with that.
And he's
So let me
hold on. And he's so sure that he's not starting that for the first time since before high school, he suits up and goes on the sideline without his face paint.
It's not about starting, though.
He was that.
It's about that you could be called on at any moment.
And he won. And he won.
Thank you. But
What if
first of all, we didn't need a single point from him to win.
We should be applauding him even more.
We didn't need a single point. We didn't need a single point to win. The defense already had that game
win that game. What if he did?
Hey, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, it'd be a wonderful world, brother. But we don't live in hypothetical.
Listen, I want to address BallGame real quick.
Why you want to address me?
BallGame, all due respect. Listen,
here we go.
All due respect, but I got a major problem with a coach. You coming from a coach's perspective, and you gonna sit up here with a straight face and say that you don't have a problem with a player playing golf on game, doing anything other than completely immersing himself in that game. You mean to tell me you don't have a problem with that?
Yeah, if I've already told a player that he's not, my primary option.
You lying, BallGame. Stop, bro. Stop it,
bro.
Stop.
We had
stop. Bro, I'm telling you right now, you are lying for your teeth right now.
We traveled in high school.
I don't know what league you was coaching in. I don't know what league you was coaching in, but you
eligible to play
in high school and went and rode go-karts for 2 hours prior to a game before. As coaches.
Man, stop.
Thank you.
What are you talking about?
I have never known a coach on game day now. On game day now. I've never known a coach. I've never known a coach to want their players on game day to be focused on nothing but the game and the task at hand. And you mean to tell me are you serious?
Thought this would be you, TD.
Oh my God!
Okay. Hold on. Let's let Dougley go while you take your Xanax and calm down a little bit, because you're gonna. I don't want you having a heart attack on air over whether a guy's golfing or not, bro. So Dougley, and then we'll come back to you guys. But Dougley's trying to add something to you guys. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
So my whole point about talking about the Ravens game, and then all of a sudden this one off the tracks.
Yeah.
Let's pretend. Okay, let's just pretend it was the Ravens game, right? Okay. Got to be at the stadium 5 o'clock or so. It was, Doug. It was. We'll just pretend, right? Sources confirm Ravens game.
Gotcha.
What if Jacoby Brissett, right? He's starting that game. You find out 12 o'clock. He wakes up. He sits on his couch for 2 hours and plays Madden. Are we going to lose our minds because that's his time to relax before a game?
That's not public. It shouldn't be any, especially. Well, I would have a problem with that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I would have a problem with that too.
I would have a problem with that, but it's not so public, bro. It's not so public,
bro.
And I told this weeks ago, and I said this weeks ago. See, what y'all are discounting is think about the time frame. Think about where we were. Think about where we were as a franchise. Tua was on his way out the door, just out.
He was trade
to that game. And you mean to tell me you're facing all this pushback as a player from internally, from within the organization? You got the fans calling for you to get you up out of here, and your solution to all of that is go play golf on game day? Fuck out of here, man.
At the end of the day, though, at the end of the day, there ain't shit he can do about any of that stuff that was going on around.
I got three things. One, it worked. B, he won the game and got his jaw back. And C, no one's asking the question.
Why didn't work and he didn't win the game?
Why didn't he do this for any other game? Why was this the only time he ever did that?
Who say he didn't?
Because I know he didn't.
How we know? I mean, he could be at home with his projector. You see it in the video.
I'm talking about actually shooting 18. I'm not talking about.
I'm sorry. I am sorry. Listen, I do not want my 5th overall pick. I don't want him doing nothing else until he establishes himself in this league. Establishes a high level of cachet in this league. I don't want him focused on nothing but football. I'm sorry.
Don't do stuff like that.
Here's the reality. Here's the reality and the truth of all of this. If we want to be completely honest, Tua has a right to do whatever the heck he wants to do on his time when he does not need to report. Nobody is disputing that. But at the end of the day, from a personal standpoint, for me, if I know that you haven't reached a level that we all want to see you reach one day, I don't even want to hear nothing like that. I want you to be in that, like, every waking moment, be a student of the game. I mean, eat, sleep, number 3 with it. I mean,
how do you know he's not? And he took
because he was playing golf before a game. That's why.
When? Give me the time.
Whole lot of hours in the day.
Before the Ravens game.
What time?
I mean, right? I don't care if it was. Look, I don't care if it was 6 in the morning. You weren't in the playbook. You weren't in the film room.
Think about this for a minute.
And that's what keep going. If you got time to go play golf, keep going.
Hang on. Think about this for a minute. Think about this for a minute. Odell Beckham, when they took that boat trip, and keep in mind the playoff game was on Sunday. This wasn't even on game day.
Oh, now we're comparing.
We all know about the infamous boat trip. And Odell was freaking God at that time. And look at the immense criticism that he took. And he was he was God in the NFL at that time. So he came under immense scrutiny because of that on a Tuesday. So no, bro, absolutely not. There's nothing you can say to justify it. Nothing.
Bro, they had like alcohol and prostitutes on the yacht, bro. This guy's out here shooting around at 16, bro.
The point of the matter is he was distracted, whether it was restricted. Listen,
every day.
The fact of the matter is, Tua's attention and his focus was on something else other than football at that time.
Yo, game day. Night before, I went out with all y'all. We had some bad seafood. I had some bad crawfish. I'm in the shitter for 3 hours. I can't get to my playbook. It's the
you better have that tablet sitting on the toilet.
You're done,
so all I'm saying.
How do you know he didn't have surface in between holes?
And you know what? They need to report that. But all I'm saying to you is, if a guy, let me ask y'all a question. If a guy is watching film for 2 hours a day versus a guy watching film 4 hours a day, which one do you have more faith in? I'm just a general fair question.
4 hours. 4 hours.
This is 4 hours. That's all it's about. And we already know these guys are using some of their downtime. Tua is going to be criticized. He is going to be scrutinized by every single thing he does, including people like myself. Because until he is performing at a top 12 quarterback level, then unfortunately, I want to see you do more. I want to see you do everything in your waking power, unreasonable things to be great. I want you to be like Tom Brady driving to the game, calling the coach, "Hey, I just watched on film."
Them sensitive ass 2 years out. They in full effect.
I've already been proven that.
But here's the thing: he didn't have that relationship. Right? He didn't have that relationship with him to do that. But here's the other thing you got to say. We all went through exam season, whether you're in high school or college or whatever, right? So we all know the retention stuff. You only should study a certain amount of time. How do we know the guy didn't roll out of bed at 6 a.m., throw his flip-flops on, go have his cup of coffee, eat his oatmeal, then study from 6 to 1 or 2, and then from 2 to 4:30 said, okay, I'm going to take my break, and he decided to golf on his break. Then he shows up at the stadium. So he's already put in.
Go throw some intermediate passes then. Go throw some intermediate passes. Bro. So you ain't got to be inactive in that area.
Y'all want him drained mentally and physically. By the time
you get
to the field from
in the backyard, let your parents be the Y to Z.
You know what?
All of that.
You know what?
Throw the ball.
You know what? Here's the biggest issue I have. Here's the biggest issue I have. If you had another player on this team other than like Xavier Howard or an established guy,
you know what? If Monogamy was playing,
y'all would be roasting him right now.
You
would be roasting him right now. Stop it, Doug. Stop it. You would.
There's tons of these guys go do other stuff.
If Jesse Davis was playing a round of 12, oh my gosh, Jesse Davis,
y'all would be roasting him, bro.
If Jesse Davis was out there playing 12, I mean, I'm sitting there saying 12, but he's playing 9 or 18. Y'all better stop.
BallGame, all due respect. I got number love for you, bro, but that is, that is really upsetting me coming from an alleged coach. I'm telling you right now.
My son, listen to this right now. He said all these non-athletes.
I'm telling you right now. That is extremely disturbing to me.
Firsthand that we wanted them as relaxed as possible before they had to go into war.
reason.
So the last thing we're gonna do is have them out there overloading themselves with stuff that we've already gone through prior to the game.
Ball game.
No, you're talking about stop. That's the whole reason why you don't do nothing but walkthroughs on Saturdays.
Ball game and reason.
But they do with walkthroughs up to game time. That's their time. So you can't tell me nothing about that. I'm okay with that because they play better on Sundays and Saturdays.
How about this? On week 2.
So take out if you want to take it. I don't care. At the end of the day,
on week 2 and 2 got hurt. Ball game.
I know. I know.
On week 2, when Tua got hurt, Leonard come out the next day. Jesse Davis was on the grounds playing 9 holes. Let that man come in week 2, right before the Buffalo game. Jesse Davis was playing 9.
You know what I would say? You know what I would say?
He would have had a hit put out on him in Miami.
I would say, what did he
go back and ask him what he do before the game? You want to improve most of the stuff that they do.
I would say, what did he shoot? I want to know if he did at least something right on his fucking Sundays. That's what I would ask.
He didn't. Nah, come on, y'all know good and well. He out there playing golf instead of working on his technique.
Oh yeah.
Come on, let's be honest.
I can't speak on that. I am talking about game day. I want my players, every player, 1 through 53, focused on the game plan at hand. I don't want you doing nothing else but football.
You can never game plan enough for a team, so you got to cram it as much as you can in.
And let's be honest, it's not like a Johnny Manziel category where he was out the night before just going ham in bars and things that's not what Tua is, right?
Think of it.
You swear that's what the situation was, though.
Why are we complaining? His hip was warmed up by the time he got to the freaking field, bro. We're good to go.
Yeah. But to be honest, man, Tua is the type of quarterback where you want him to do is like TD saying, you want him to do as much as he can and not even hear about certain things that's happening, but Tua's under a super microscope right now.
Everything anyway.
But you know what? Another thing that y'all not, another thing y'all not talking about. Another thing you're not talking about is the simple fact that by week 14 every year that arm looked like it's fading. Let's be honest, and that's why I'm gonna be looking at this.
I mean,
stop talking back.
But I'll be honest.
That's a strength and conditioning thing from the injury still lingering. That's what that is.
And he'll get there.
Save it. Stop putting that claw back. Save that arm. Save that shoulder.
I'll be honest about that too. A golfing situation on the Ravens week, right? Yeah. Because the Ravens were, they were still playoff contention. That was a primetime game. You would want, even if you're the back of that game, you want to be as prepared as possible.
Well, prepared enough to win the game.
He did.
Right. No, he went in. Look, he went in. He got the job done. But as much as we want to say it's good for him to be relaxed, play golf and things like that. I'm just looking at the entire scenario of this is a primetime game against a primetime team that we haven't beaten in a long time. It's always in your best interest. True. Yes.
He shot in 82, and then he shot down number 8. What's up?
Hey, Martin, what was your
I heard he didn't even shoot at 82.
Ritual, Martin?
Well, man,
you know what?
What was your pregame ritual?
I wanted to golf more because
just listening to music.
I don't.
He gave
so you didn't have the tablet in front of you going through film?
Bro,
no.
Dude, he gave his top 15 play over the next 3 weeks after that game. He gave his top, and then he hit a nosedive a little bit. But he gave his top 15 play for like 3.5 games.
Reason Tua wants a green jacket instead of a gold one.
Wow.
Oh,
this man's bringing Masters talk out here.
Damn, TD. Damn, bro.
Green jacket, bro.
Stop. Listen,
but I was like Martin too, bro. I was like Martin too. I would just listen to music, headphones on, and get in the zone and shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, bro, you don't want. I mean, my God. I mean, you don't want your players doing
fucking 8 hours getting in the zone, staring at a wall, saying, "Oh, here we go, baby, here we go." Right? 8 hours before the game, bro.
And above all, I heard he can't even golf.
This guy.
Damn. Here we go.
I heard Charles Barkley got a better swing. I heard
Listen.
Charles Barkley got a better swing.
Aren't you
Hopefully-
learning as
listen.
well?
Bro.
Learning as well?
Hopefully,
Learning as
listen.
well?
Bro.
Hey, man, I'm
Hopefully
a
Tua-
goat on the course now.
Hey, hopefully Tua learns. Hopefully, this is part of his developmental cycle. Hopefully, he learns from that, and we won't have to ever, entertain this conversation ever again about,
he does
him doing anything
Monday
and
night
being
game,
completely
yeah,
sold out to the game of
Thursday night
football.
game.
Tiger
Because I'm telling you,
Tagovailoa.
man,
Bro, I'm hoping this
I
guy
just
doesn't
have a
get
problem with that.
I'm
A major
hoping-
problem.
I'm hoping he-
passes get get blown out of proportion, and then when he putting them in the bread basket, nobody says anything about it.
All
It's
in
gonna
the head.
always be something.
It ain't no bread
Oh.
basket. It's a
He
muffin
did
basket.
it.
But that'll-
He put them
Ball
things right
game.
in there.
Ball game. That only happens to.
Who
That
told you,
only happens.
Petey? What did I tell you?
That throw to Waddle,
What
though,
did I
man.
tell you?
Bro,
What
that
happened?
throw to Waddle.
They're running around in t-shirts and shorts, bro. It don't matter, right?
Nah,
Don't
you're
even.
right.
Yeah.
But I've been
Let's see
hearing
what
that.
it look like when the pads get on. You
But
like,
I'll say
Regardless,
this,
ball
hold on.
game.
Who is that
No,
he
ball
burned?
game. You
Huh?
got to give Tua a little bit more credit this offseason so far. And this is
understand.
where you got to give them a little more credit because I know that they only in shorts, but we weren't hearing this the years before
That's exactly what I said.
when they
too,
were in
yeah.
shorts.
Yeah.
So that's still a good sign.
Yeah,
At the
I
end
agree
of the
with that.
day,
You know
I'll
what?
be looking. Let's see
Those
if it's
hips are
consistent.
loose, bro.
No, this is what I said. This is what I said. 'Cause I
I
said the
don't get
exact
PD.
PD, I said the exact same thing, but this is what I said. Don't put any stock into it. Just take notice of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And keep on gathering intel.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the end, but it's still refreshing because for the first time in 3 years, around this time of the year, you actually getting all positive. All positive.
Yep.
And Omar's report. I
I
know a
agree.
lot of people don't like Omar, but
And
when he said it
exactly.
was
I look for the people
noticeable-
who not going to be biased
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
reporting positive. So you
I agree.
ain't got no choice.
Yeah,
You
I
run
agree.
with it. So at the end
I
of the
agree.
day, we'll see if that continues.
and X and Byron weren't out there yesterday
Ball
too.
game,
so-
stop being a Tua hater, man.
That's cool.
Ballgame need to take that Homer hat off. He need to take that
Hold on.
Tuanon hat off.
Wow.
That's what he need to do.
I
He
said
need to take that damn Tuanon hat off, bro.
Hey, stop that, Ian. Stop that now.
He
Don't
need
do
to,
that.
he
Don't
need
do
to
that.
take that
Don't
Tuanon
do
hat
that.
off.
I've been
Don't
telling
do that.
y'all. I've
You
been
need to
telling
put that
y'all for
Dolphin
2
hat back on.
years.
I just said
Put that,
give him
put
a
that
chance.
Dolphin hat back on now.
Give him a
Come on now.
chance. That's what I said. Right? For hell, a whole season and a half, he ain't been healthy. I don't think. That's just my opinion on it. So I just want to see what he look like when he's fully healthy.
Yeah.
Well,
And
And he
this
has
is the
full
first time I
support.
get to see it. So
He is,
that's
right?
being a homer, as I said, 3 years, right? My thing has always been I give every player coming into the league 3 years to show me what they got.
Mhm.
This
And
will
you
be
know what?
the third year for
And-
him to
and-
actually be able to prove who he is.
And
So
with
if
what
he
you're
don't
saying,
do
ball
it, then
game,
it is what it is.
and
But I waited on Wilkins. You feel me?
that's
I
well,
waited
he's
on
gotten better
Wilkins.
every year. He's gotten better every year, though.
Exactly.
He took a big leap last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see what Stevie
Oh,
TV
not a
just said?
homer.
Tua went
I just wanna see
golfing
what he got.
undefeated, 1-0.
I see King golfing. Yeah, I know. Right? But you know what the thing was, ball game? You know why people are noticing a difference right now? First of all, people don't realize that this whole regiment that Tua is going through with Perform, that's from Gallu, eh? Like that, like they identify because Gallu's a quarterback coach, right? People don't realize he has like a company and all that shit, right? So what I'm saying is they've worked on the footwork, but they've leaned him out because last year they were told by the team, we want to bulk him up so he can take the beating of a season. That's why you saw his touch affected over the middle of the field. But now you see like the noticeable difference and stuff. The other factors too. Last year was about was finishing off the rehabbing process and building up his strength, the foundation. And now that he's kept that foundation through the season, now they're building on that foundation. So now we're actually getting into off seasons where he's actually training to be an NFL quarterback, not having to like they're not dealing with any more hip issues. Like last year, if you go back to my interview with Nick Hicks last year, remember he showed up, he couldn't stand on one foot, right? The hip would give out. So now that's not an issue. So they can just hit the ground freaking running. And already, now that they've been able to do that, people are noticing differences in the arm. So imagine what you're going to see next year. You know what I mean? And continuing on.
I know what you're doing. I ain't gonna let you go.
I'll say my last words.
What's that?
I'm not gonna let you pull me in, bro. I'm not gonna let you.
Bro? I'm not trying to pull you in. I'm just
ball game. You a Tua hater.
Hey,
You gonna?
I'm not
crow
trying to
this
pull
year.
you in. I'm just disappointed. That is very disappointing for me to hear it come from a coach. I'm sorry, bro.
All y'all gonna eat crow this
These
year.
dudes eat and sleep football, bro.
Hey, but
Going off on game day is not eating and sleeping football ball game. It's not.
In the morning. There's
No,
plenty of
man.
time to go back and look at film.
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can say to justify a player's focus being on game day now. You want that player completely immersed on the game plan at hand, bro. No, what level of coach you ever heard say, "Oh yeah, you know what? We got a game on Sunday, but you know what? You can go play. You can have extracurricular activities on game day to take your focus away from the game."
You know what the issue is? You know what the issue is? Nobody else just ain't reporting what the other dude's doing.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
That's it. No idea. That's the only thing. Because if they actually reported what the rest of these dudes were doing, you probably lose your mind about that too. It's cool that they reported him because he was on the team at the time.
This just don't apply to Tua.
Listen,
this just apply to Tua. That's 1 through 53.
That type of stuff.
Y'all are only making excuses. Y'all are only trying to justify him being distracted on game day, his focus being taken away on game day because of Tua. That's why. That's why you need to take that Tua hat off.
You know what my god brother
went. Doug.
You know what my god brother went and did?
He played golf.
It's ridiculous, man.
Before brother Dexter Jackson, before the Super Bowl, you know what they did? Him and Derrick Brooks went to the batting cages.
How dare them?
Before they played the Super Bowl,
they
went to the batting cages.
Have you ever seen the movie?
Who went to the batting cages?
Dexter Jackson and Derrick Brooks.
Oh, great players.
Super Bowl.
Great players.
Duh.
Okay, when you a great player, I care less what you do.
You don't even want to know.
The point of all of this.
You don't even want to know what the other dudes are doing.
Hold on. Did any of you guys ever watch the movie Cocaine Cowboys, the documentary?
I have.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Do you remember when they talk about the whole Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl was in Miami. They were up all night and up all morning before the game blowing lines. And then they literally pulled an all-nighter just blowing line, the whole offensive line.
And they were some of the best at their job.
We're talking about like
were they doing it on camera? Was it record? I mean,
Tua's wasn't on camera recorded.
Was it on camera and broadcasted for the world to see?
Yes, in the movie it was.
Documentaries wrote about it, man.
Man, I don't want to. Yeah, 20 years after the fact. Yeah, 20 years after the fact. 20 years after the fact. Yeah.
All you do is that they follow, man, and it don't just include football. EM, that's all I'm saying, bro.
I'm saying is if this kid doesn't prove to be our franchise quarterback this year, y'all are not going to point to characteristics such as that. Y'all are not going to point to it. I would have expected y'all. I would have expected people to be like, "Come on, Tua, you got to be focused on the game. It is what it is. Don't do that."
Well, I've already said that. I don't agree about how he went about
this. You don't do that on game day at all.
I've already said I don't.
There's nothing you can say.
I told you this privately. I've said it publicly. I don't agree with how he went about sending the message.
Right.
I don't agree with that.
Right.
Okay, well, what are we? What is the conversation about? Y'all actually agree with us. Y'all actually agree with us, right? So what are we arguing here? What are we debating?
And he made a decision. He got to live with that.
Was it a good decision, ball game?
No.
I can't make that determination for him.
Stop it. I'm asking, was it a good decision?
Would I have done it?
You think it was a good decision?
No.
What would you have been doing?
You don't know what I would have been doing.
No, I'm saying, but ball game. If you're still trying to be the best version of yourself in the league, though, and you still haven't proven yourself to be.
Listen, bro. Listen, one thing I do know for sure, right? In the game of football, I've seen myself get to a point where I can only take in so much of what we're actually working and what we actually gonna be trying to execute on Friday night, right? Mm-hmm. And at some point, I start rejecting information that's being fed down. You know what I mean? And that's even from the coaching standpoint, right? When you got to figure out when enough is enough, and you've got enough pushed into the kids so that they can actually go out there and function.
That's when you were playing. That's when you were playing.
Well, even when we were playing, my coach had a limit for us.
But that's why you got cut.
On game day though. On game day, not Friday night.
Bro,
not Wednesday night, not Monday night. On game day, on a Sunday.
Ball game must have played for FAMU at that time.
Can I say ball game? Hold on. Ball game, Martin. Ball game, Martin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this specifically to you guys. If you wake up on Sunday and you ain't prepared for that game, it ain't gonna change in the next 8 hours.
Exactly.
That's true. That's true.
Exactly.
That ain't true. You know why?
Are you?
Because,
TD,
bro,
they're not gonna present anything else to you.
Yeah, if you had all week, you've had all week.
You can continue to watch. You can continue to watch film and pick up tendencies and everything. Brady do it. Brady do it all the way up
Brady
until
has
that first
them.
snap.
Brady has them locked down by the
Yeah,
middle
he
of the
do.
week.
You saw time versus time. Oh, maybe you
I
did.
didn't watch Tom versus Tom.
Thank you. That's all Brady does. He showed you how he lived. He showed you on the way to the game. Hey, I'm on with his tablet on the road. Hey, I'm looking at this right now. They have a tendency to do this. I think we could bring that play that you said, flip it next week.
That's on
That's
Wednesday.
all he's doing.
That was
When did he
on
do this?
Wednesday.
Flip it
That's
next
all.
week.
No, that was on the way to the game, ball game.
When?
In here, that's what he does.
When?
Like
this
Every
past year?
day.
This past
And
year?
I-
I
and
guarantee
listen,
he didn't
and
do that
listen.
for
This is
2
what
years
he
starting.
does.
For the
See,
1
y'all
o'clock
wanna make
game or was it for
excuses.
evening
This
game?
is what the
It's
man
not
does.
excuses. People need to stop
And
using
listen.
the word excuses for everything. It's not
Doug,
excuses.
then why are you discounting something saying, when did he do it? He didn't do it this year.
Because
How
I
you
wanna
know?
when he
How do
did
you
it?
know?
Did he do it in his second year in the NFL when he was still trying to learn?
He say he been
playbook?
doing it his entire career,
I
and
don't
until he
believe he's
can't
been
put
doing
that,
it his
he
entire
said
career.
until he can't put
Okay,
that
he
level
can
of
say whatever
focus
he
in,
wants.
until he can't put that level of focus in, he's gonna retire the day he
but
can't put that level in.
I
He can say
literally
that all
just,
he
I
want, 'cause he
literally,
look-
Y'all
goddamn
don't want to
deer-
believe what it
the
takes
deer
to
in
be a
headlights
great.
when
check this
freaking-
out. Check this out. I
No,
literally
I
just
think
got
Bledsoe
it takes to be great.
yeah,
You're
when
scrutinizing the stupidest
Bledsoe
thing.
went
Someone
down.
playing
It's
golf
It's
or
not.
deer in
You
headlights.
put
So
the
I'm
work
motherfucker,
in,
man, I
Doug.
don't give a
You
shit what he
live,
say.
sleep, breathe it to be that next generational
And
player.
again, like me and BallGame.
Do you
have
know
been
what it
trying
takes to be
tell-
that?
Like me and BallGame have been trying to tell you and EM what is taking a half hour, 45 minutes out of your day to decompress and
On
then go
game
back
day.
to doing.
On game day, Doug.
People wonder
Stop.
why.
He was
On
told
game
he
day.
wasn't
People
gonna
wonder
even
why.
play,
Don't say
bro.
on game day.
Let Doug talk. Jesus Christ. Let's go. Go, Doug.
It doesn't. Again, you take first off. Why are you cramming information in your brain on game day? That's one. Two. If the man wakes up. Say it's again hypothetical. Man wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning instantly as he's sitting there eating his food. He's looking at film. He's going over stuff because we know he does it. He makes his family members run routes for him. So obviously he does it when he's home, going over stuff. And then he's like, I'm going to take a 20, 30-minute break and we're going to hit some golf balls with Cameron. And then he comes back and he continues to do it. And then he goes to the stadium. What is so wrong about that? If he takes a 40-minute break to hit some golf balls to clear his mind and then jumps right back into it, we're all assuming that all he did was wake up, fart, take a shit, then go hit some golf balls, came back, sit down,
Just
watch
like
TV,
Justin
went
Herbert.
to
I
the
want him to
stadium.
have a cot in the building.
What part don't you understand, Doug? You got to consider where Tua's status was in the organization at that time. He was just he was just very, very close to being shipped out of here. I mean,
quarterback Flores
to the
didn't want.
hour. Hang
But
on,
did
stop.
that
Hang
affect
on.
him?
So again, man, you have to be self-aware of what you're facing internally. Because, bro, it wasn't just Flores. It was Ross and Greer too. Was on the phone and trying to trade for Deshaun Watson all year. So let's not
100%.
stop this narrative. It was just Flores.
He could do the
So
change in
hang
it,
on,
though.
hang on. So your solution to that, when clearly Tua wants to be here, because he never came out and asked for a trade under all of that scrutiny and pressure with the trade hanging over his head. He never came out and said, trade me away like Baker Mayfield did. He didn't do that. So that tells you he wants to be here. So your solution, because all you have at that point in time is you just have to focus on being the best version of yourself. And your solution and your approach to that is on game day now. On game day to go to I don't care what it was. It could be him playing bumper cars, riding bumper cars, bro, for all I care. Anything that takes your focus away from the task at hand, from the game at hand, from you're taking away from anything that could, negate your development. Bro, that's not the best approach from a fifth overall pick.
And even Tua knew.
Why is that so hard to understand?
And when you really think about it, even Tua knew he was wrong for doing it because he did it to prove a point.
Well, that's it.
Even he knew.
We're talking about an isolated incident right now that he only did it to send a message because clearly it wasn't resonating.
You're doing something to send a message. Obviously, it's you shouldn't have did it. If you're doing it to make a statement, that's a no-no. He knows it's a no-no.
We ain't never did that.
Do you guys do anything else?
No. I'm not saying his his reason and all of that was so much wrong, but it ain't right. Listen, you know my take, ball game. If getting your point across crosses the line some of the time, then cross it with pride, right? I get that. I'm not gonna knock him for that, but it still don't make it right. And even he knew that because he was getting his point across. That's something, but he also knew you got to live with the scrutiny of that.
See, I'm in this weird position where I don't believe in how the message was sent, but I do believe that the message needs to be sent and need to be received. But I just don't believe, I'm not a fan of how it was sent. So I'm in this weird predicament where if people aren't listening to you inside the building, because I mean, the trainer, if the trainer, if Flores got trainer in that pocket, it ain't getting back up. And now if you think about it, he put the flames back on Flores because now Greer and Ross, they just go off of what Flores and his people tell him. And now they're saying, okay, why is he healthy enough to not play, but he's healthy enough to go and play golf? And now you brought him in at halftime, so clearly you thought he was healthy enough to play at some point because you had him as a backup. Like, do you guys remember the report too? I think it was Joe Shad. Do you remember how emotional Tua was after the warm-ups? Because there were videos going around. Remember he looked really good in warm-ups and was throwing the ball really well, and apparently got really emotional when they told him once again, you're not playing tonight.
Dan Marino went up to him and had that conversation.
Yeah.
Grabbed them. I've never seen Dan Marino do that.
Yeah, Dan Marino was saying, Watson might be here tomorrow, so just have your best game you can. That was the exact weekend. Let's be honest. Think about it.
Dan Marino said, don't worry, we're getting rid of this guy at the end of the season.
That was the height of the Watson. That was the trade deadline week when Dan Marino came and had that conversation with him on the field. Like
pretty much probably told him to keep his head up.
Yeah, I agree. But
reason you need to stop that.
You know what?
Hang on. You need to stop trying to sell that narrative that Dan Marino was not a.
I'm joking, bro. I was being facetious.
Oh, okay. No, all right.
Serious,
bro. All right. Okay, now. I know 2 and R's in full effect now. I know they're in the chat now, but come on, let's keep it 1,000.
I know who runs 2 and on, and I don't get along with the person that runs 2 and on. A, B.
Well, 2 and ears, 2 and on, whatever you want to call it.
B. Yeah, B. I was just being facetious. I would not even speculate on what they said to each other because I don't fucking know.
But reason, the real story and all of that, nobody wants to talk about. What if Brian Flores was looking out for Tua? He benched Tua. He benched him, but didn't want to call it benching. That's benching when you're healthy to play and putting a narrative that you aren't. You are being benched.
And there's the problem, right?
And yeah, Flores may have been wrong, and that's the problem.
But wrong. They both were. They both were wrong.
Regardless, the truth of the matter is Flores benched him. And Tua went out and showed that he was healthy to play. And that's the reality. Should he have benched him? No, if you're trying to figure out if he's your guy. But Flores wasn't happy about the 2 games before that. You had like the Jags game and all them other games before that.
On him.
Yeah, regardless though. He found his scapegoat if it was on him, right? And he benched the kid. That's ultimately what it came down to. When you're healthy, you think Flores believed he wasn't healthy. We all know they knew he was healthy enough to play. So what does that mean? He benched him.
And that's
we got to do another
step. Messed up because instead of saying we are going with Brissett and you're going to be the backup, he said he's not healthy enough.
But what I'm saying to you is this whole healthy enough narrative, it's just a fad. Flores and them knew he was healthy enough. It's just the reality is people need to talk about the true reality of the nature.
But how big of
Flores
an idiot?
Benched Tua.
But how big of an idiot is he?
And just say you benched
him. I'm not knocking that because at the end of the day, you already deep with him. You got to go with him. But you didn't.
But you thought you were going to pull it out with Jacoby Brissett? Like, are you that arrogant that you thought this was going to pop off? Well, like, that's a fireable offense right there. Thinking because let's be honest, Fitzpatrick had this defense. Rosen had this defense. All these guys had this defense, but yet why is Tua the only one with a winning record? Someone tell me this why. This guy was so dumb and so arrogant offensively now, not defensively, offensively, that he thought the only guy that wins with him and can play somewhat of a complimentary kind of football at times with this shitty situation around him personnel-wise and coaching staff-wise. You think you're going to bring in Jabroni Brissett, who we all know what that guy was. He was nothing more than a career backup who was elevated way out of his depth by the Colts, so much so that Indianapolis barely threw the ball when he was their guy. You thought this guy was – it took Tyrod Taylor's worst career game against us for him to actually get a win on the season. Because if Tyrod didn't have that bad of a game, Houston probably beats us.
Well, we had the luxury of that killer defense that he assembled. So don't sit up here and call that man and say he's incompetent. Reason that's ridiculous.
I said offensively, I literally corrected. I said offensively,
and I wouldn't even say he's incompetent offensively. He made moves. Now again, I am not a Flores apologist here. I'm not apologizing for anything.
I feel like
you can go outside
created
Tua
the
and
best.
point to
I feel like they created the best offense they could for him.
No.
And there were still plays to be made out of it that weren't.
No.
Well, you don't have to agree with that. So what other offense with the personnel we had with the personnel? Now, if you want to blame him about personnel, that's fine. But as far as the system we ran, Doug, that system could still win. The system could still exactly. But I get it, ball game. You have to make a system with what you have. So if you want to complain about personnel, I'm all with you. But that is the best system that I believe anybody could have ran with that personnel. Was there not wide open guys all the time, all day? Was Tua not 70% completion? Was he not missing open people at times? Why are we doing that? Why are we just taking the number 2 with diarrhea on them when they adjusted that offense to actually make him at least look competent? And he actually did to a certain degree. It's just you can only go but so far when you run into certain teams that smack you in the mouth and take that away.
They didn't know how to use Waddle properly for the first 9 weeks. That's a fucking fact. They used him like Jarvis Landry inside 5 yards in the line of scrimmage. They literally didn't know how to use them. And let's be honest, Tua played that well because Tua rose above the bullshit. I mean, if there was such a good system, why did only one good offensive lineman play well? Why is Robert Hunt the only one do we say has an all-pro trajectory of the guy?
You know what? Reason?
I'm not done.
Keep all of them and let Mike McDaniels coach them. Let Mike McDaniels coach Jesse Davis then. Why you go and get Teron Armstead?
Well, because he's not an idiot saying I can turn that turd into a piece of gold. He said that's a turd. That's not something you can polish. Well, that was his boy.
Greer gave him a new contract.
Everything went through Flores. Everything went through Flores. Hold
on. Let's get something straight. You're in a tank year as a rookie coach, getting rid of all of your talent. Greer is the one that signed Jesse Davis to a 4-year extension, taking him through 2023. Greer is the one did that. That ain't on Flores in a year you're going to be tanking anyway.
Yeah, because you could have cut him. You could have said
signed him to a deal through 2023.
So we signed Van Noy to a bunch of money and cut him after 1 year.
But Greer didn't get anybody to replace him. How you going to cut him? Who was going to play
replace Jesse Davis? EMdolphinfan could have replaced Jesse Davis.
Whose job is it to replace him?
I could have replaced
him. Dude,
whose job is it to replace him, ball game?
That is, you go to the offensive line coach. What do you need for what we're executing? They tell you. Why do you think one of the first things McDaniels did is he walked into that scouting? He literally said this in his conference. I walked into the scouting department. We watched film with them, and I told them what I'm looking for in running back and offensive lineman. He literally said that on record because the Ravens have done it. That's why they've continuously drafted similar profile guys because Ozzie Newsome put in, this is what we look for. And this regime was putting it in. And guess what? They were throwing shit at the wall, hoping it sticks. And it goes all the way back to when he fired Flaherty. He fired Flaherty, a guy with offensive line coach for 30 plus years, who told him that Deere wasn't good enough. Also, he could hire his boy, who was nothing more than a quality control coach who fell on his ass. Then we go and the next year, we elevate a guy from high school under Chan Gailey. That falls in his ass. Then we bring in Lemuel Jean-Pierre, a guy who's on record saying he had Tristan Wirfs as a guard, not a tackle. Right then and there, we don't got the right guy if they don't know how to evaluate the talent. Because what you do in the offseason is you go to your positional coaches, you go to your coordinators. What do we want to do with the offense specifically? What do we want to do with the offensive line, the receivers this year? What's the idea? How are we attacking defenses? Then you've created the plan. Now you go into the profiles of the players you want in, and then you bring that information to Chris Grier. And guess what Chris Grier is? Chris Grier is the guy you hand the grocery list to. He'll go out, do the shopping, and you got to do the cooking.
So reason, be honest. Do you think that Brian Flores handed Chris Grier a list of Austin Jackson, freaking Solomon Kinley, Liam Eichenberg, every person that Chris Grier drafted for the O-line were Chris Grier picks. Those were his picks.
Your offensive line coach is going to have input.
Okay, then your offensive line coach got it wrong. That's why they kept getting fired.
But who hired him? Who brought him in?
No. See, y'all think that everybody's just supposed to automatically hire an O-line coach and he's supposed to be great. You think every single... But
tell me why veteran coaches weren't coming here to coach under Brian Flores.
Because it's hard to get veteran coaches.
Oh, my God. The San Francisco 49ers got Vic Fangio as a fucking advisor, and the guy's a defensive coordinator. It ain't hard. People didn't want to coach with Brian Flores. His allegations might have been right, but here's the bottom line. Brian Flores was a piece of shit.
Brian Flores as a person
was a piece of shit, and no one wanted to coach with him. Period. That's it.
But you're trying to put all the personnel on him like Grier didn't make no personnel decisions.
Grier is, if this season has taught anyone, even casual fans, something about Chris Grier, he's what I've been saying for years. He's a facilitator. You need to have the vision. He will facilitate it. Hence why I said you hand him the grocery list. He goes, buys the groceries, and then you cook the food.
And let me tell you, let me tell you why you're wrong about Chris Grier being the facilitator.
I'm not wrong. He's not the person that says I draft my guy and pushes him on.
Let me give you the reason why. Let me give you the reason why. Let me give you the reason why. Let me give you the reason why on Chris Grier. Chris Grier has been coveting all his draft assets for one moment that didn't come to pass. And now that it didn't come to pass, what do you need, Mike? Get whatever you want. You want Tyreek? I'll get you Tyreek. You want this? I'll get you that. He been holding them picks for a quarterback. Grier has been sitting every year, every move he makes, he positions himself to still be able to get an elite quarterback by making sure he got 3 first-round picks in a 2-year period. He's done it for 3 years now.
The reason why they're holding on to the picks for next year is because we're already like $17 million over the cap heading into next year.
No, that's not why we hold.
They're not going to be able to spend 60 to 80 million. They're going to have to bring in. Listen, when you spend the money,
we wouldn't be over the cap if you got Tyreek. Tyreek was an example of.
We are over the cap. Go check. You can go see it right now.
You don't think they were saving those picks for Watson?
Now they're not.
Of course. Now that they're not.
They literally said.
So now Mike McDaniel gets to reap the fruit of give him that first for Tyreek. Well, give him that. Let me see your grocery list. I can honor it now.
What did they say about the draft this year? They looked into moving up, but they weren't willing to trade anything from next year.
And I get that, but I'm talking about the past. Flores didn't have those draft picks to his disposal. Chris Grier was holding those for one guy.
It ain't like in 2020. Look, all the draft picks. What are you talking about? No draft picks at his disposal. We had like 11 picks in back-to-back years.
Reason you're missing what I'm saying. Chris Grier never utilized all the capital that we had to make this O-line better, and every pick he made on it so far was a failure, just about. And now, and think about it,
scouting.
That's Chris Grier drafted 4 O-linemen in 3 years, and only one of them working out. He is telling the head coach, "You need to make at least another 1 or 2 work." Why you think they going the route they're going at the right tackle right now? Because you better make one of them work. I spent too much into them.
No, because we have competent coaching now. That's what the thing is. We have competent coaching.
That don't mean that because you don't know if they going to be good on the edge. Maybe they're just trash.
These guys
Maybe they're just trash.
Frank Smith was one of the guys that found Terron Armstead. What are we talking about?
So, ladies and gentlemen, reason is saying right now, if Austin Jackson or Liam Eichenberg starts at right tackle when they are trash, it is bad coaching.
Did I say that?
That's basically what you insinuating too.
No, that's not what I said.
Because Flores had to deal with them.
You asked why they're keeping them around, and I said it's because of the coaching now. That's what I said.
Okay, but this is the thing. If they fail anyway, was it the coaching?
My scouting reports are already out on Eichenberg and Austin Jackson before we even drafted them, so people know what I felt about them as players. Okay, so that's already out there. I didn't think they were good picks to begin with.
If they fail, if they fail, was that on the old coaches? If they fail this year, can we continue to blame the old coaches?
What did I just say?
I'm just saying, yes or no? Can we blame the old coaches if they still fail?
But I've also said that, guess what? Austin Jackson's going to stick around. He's going to be a starting right guard because he got all the traits that they're going to look for in this scheme.
All I'm saying to you, Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg, Solomon Kinley, Dieter, Tua Tagovailoa, Noah Igbenogany, whoever is still unknown of what they're going to be in this league, if they fail, then was it really the previous coaches?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because we already have examples of bad coaching.
No. So hold on. If they fail, if all of those guys I just named failed, so are the new coaches bad coaches? So, but the old coaches were because they weren't.
Where do you assign blame at that point? Where do you assign blame at that point?
Hold on a sec.
Who's to blame?
Hold on a sec.
Who's to blame then?
Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Yeah, first of all,
I'm just saying though, that don't make sense to say that they were bad and the new ones aren't if they still fail.
Josh Rosen, BallGame. Josh Rosen when he came to Miami. Where's our coaching staff? Were they or were they not having to coach bad habits out of Josh Rosen, including band work they were using with his feet because the coaching staff was doing wrong things? So guess what this turns into? You got guys that are no longer raw, fresh talent coming to the NFL. They've been spoiled for 2 years by bad coaching. You gotta not only you gotta coach them new things, you gotta coach old things and bad habits out of them that were there from the previous regime. So that makes your job even harder.
That's literally what Mike McDaniel said. Mike McDaniel said you have to look at the previous coaches so you can transition them to what you're doing now.
Okay, so you see, y'all automatically taking this approach of already giving benefit of the doubt because if they fail this year,
I've seen the 2 years of the bad coaching. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. What I'm saying to y'all is, if they fail this year, it's not because of the new coaches, so they deserve a year after that too, right?
The new coaches aren't going to get fired.
No, I'm talking about the players. They deserve a year after that too.
Bro, what have I told you since I was on your channel in 2019? The one thing you don't have in the NFL is time. These guys, yeah, but through a third year. Austin Jackson,
most of these guys, it'll be their third year.
And that's going to be it. What did I say? Back in 2019 when I joined your channel, what did I always say? I said, I don't care if it's a quarterback or whatever. I give a player 3 years. By the end of year 3, I know what you are. And I can project your ceiling pretty good. But every position falls under that. Not one
question I have.
Do y'all truly hear yourself? Nobody is only the old coaches are to blame. Y'all are 1,000% saying they are the reason for all of those players' lack of success when they might just suck. They might just suck.
The players have a part to play in this.
They might just suck, but no BallGame. They're saying that is 100% that it is the old coaches.
I didn't say that. Who do I blame for Kinley showing up overweight last training camp? Do I blame fucking Flores for that? No, I blame Solomon Kinley for that.
Was Austin Jackson playing well before his injury?
Year 1.
He was his rookie year.
He was, but all of a sudden it's the coach's fault.
But that was with Solomon Kinley next to him too, so that was
regardless.
Let me ask you this. If all the coaching was that bad,
when he got healthy after the ankle, why couldn't you get him back?
If all the coaching was that bad, well, why is Robert Hunt telling?
Like Robert Hunt was.
You're taking 1 out of 5 guys, and that's your. But
if it's coaching, they're getting taught the same fundamentals.
Was Robert Hunt playing that well his rookie year?
I'm just asking a question.
He took another step.
I'm just asking a question.
He grew as a player last year.
When he had Kinley next to him, he was very good. I did a video breakdown on it. Okay, are we all actually going to sit here too and act like talent doesn't rise above bad coaching and bad environments in some circumstances?
Okay, so Robert Hunt is more talented than Austin Jackson?
Lack of talent.
Robert Hunt is more talented than Austin Jackson?
110%.
Man, you...
Austin Jackson is more physically gifted.
Okay,
right.
Austin Jackson has a better athletic profile.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Is that not talent? Is that not talent?
What are y'all talking about?
Is that not talent?
Talent is what plays to the field, bro.
Stop. That's talent, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Talented, bro.
Austin Jackson next to Teron Armstead.
Was Kalen Ballage talented? Caleb Ballage he was an athlete trying to be a football player. That's what he was, bro.
He was a track star. Exactly. A track star playing football. My point is,
we're talking about football talent, not can you run a fucking
I agree.
Run a circle 80 times fast,
I agree, but you cannot sit here and tell me you cannot sit here and tell me that Robert Hunt is more talented physically than Austin Jackson.
I'm talking about
No, he's not.
I literally said Austin Jackson's more physically gifted. But if we're talking about
what you said was you said talent trumps coaching is what you said.
football.
That's what you said.
Exactly.
Robert Hunt's a better football
So,
player than Austin Jackson.
If Robert Hunt is not more talented,
See,
so
you're
my
talking
point is,
I'm talking football talent. You're talking athletic talent. That's
Right,
what
right.
differentiating
No.
here, bro.
they both came into the league the same time.
Okay.
they came
So
from
what if
They
But-
both came into the league the same. They had the same coaching, bro.
But-
Austin Jackson. Go ahead.
They ain't coaching at USC,
Go ahead.
bro.
But Robert Hunt comes in with cleaner technique and fundamentals.
Really? That's why. Really? That's why. He's coming in with cleaner technique and fundamentals. But that's the reason why they kicked him inside the guard. Stop it, man.
Bro,
Stop.
You were the one that wanted him back at tackle because you think he's
I
the best
do.
option.
I do. But that don't make. Listen, that doesn't make him more. I'm addressing your point. The point you were trying to make. The statement you made was talent trumps coaching. So my question, and it's only a question, Austin Jackson is, and I'm not talking about Connor Williams and Teron Armstead. Before we acquired them, he was the most athletically gifted lineman that we have. So what I'm saying is, y'all are sitting up here saying, putting all the blame and assigning 100% of blame on coaching. Well, I'm like, well, why is Robert, if the coaching was that bad, why is Robert Hunt excelling and nobody else? He's getting the same coaching, the same staff, the same everything across the board is the same. Why is he excelling and others not?
If the coaching was that good or that competent, why did we have a historically bad offensive line last year?
I'm just asking a question.
Because the personnel was historically bad.
Who put them in place?
I would think it's a
Chris
combination.
Greer.
That might
That's
be
the
the
point I'm
case.
saying.
I think
Chris
it's a
Greer.
combination of both
Because of
But at the same token,
we
ball
switched to a
game,
power
are
gap
we
scheme.
really gonna put the onus on Brian Flores so much for the personnel on offense?
Well, bro, listen. Here's what I know. Right, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the coach has a scheme and a philosophy. GM's job is to be him the player to fill the team. Simple and plain, right? He's got your scouting department. Those guys do extensive research supposedly, and then they go out and we try to find the guys that meet what you need for your scheme, and that's it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's I blame them all. I mean, they all screwed it up.
Yeah,
we can't say we can't say one way or the other that I'm not gonna put all the blame on the kids when I know without a shadow of a doubt that even at the NFL level there still needs to be coaching, which we had very shitty coaching. Sorry. So you take a kid,
and I'm not refuting that.
Going to the
I'm not
pros,
refuting that.
They ain't got nobody to guide them in that process. You're gonna get a shitty product, simple and plain, across the board. So we take that, however you take that. But
we've lost 2 years.
With that logic,
2 years with
we
these
just
kids.
lost 2 years of
We've
these
lost
dudes.
2 years.
With
You
that
gotta cut
logic,
stuff out now. That's the thing.
So hold on. This is where I come to a crossroad with this. We lost 2 years. Now we're asking Mike McDaniel to recondition them, right? And in his reconditioning, what are the chances that it happens the first year he's trying to recondition?
Why
It
do you
might
think he
not.
added so many players?
might not.
It might not.
I think it will, but it won't.
gotta
It
build
might
fans to
not, but we'll say these kids have a potential to be great if they had more time.
But
We only got two.
see, this is
really
where
maybe.
kind of
Yeah.
This is arguably the best
When
offensive
does the
coaching
ownership?
staff.
When does
Whenever
the
we ever had an
ownership
offensive
come?
staff like this, though,
When
that's
does
the
the
thing we're getting
ownership
into.
come of
Never.
saying these guys
Never.
just aren't good?
That's the thing. That's why the optimism is here. When have we had disqualified of a coach of an coaching staff on the offensive side of the football? We haven't had
Across
this.
the board, never.
When, bro? You can
Never.
Listen,
Even with Marino, never.
Moreno was a defensive guy.
Man,
Gase,
Richmond even
Cam,
said it
Philbin
himself,
were
bro.
disasters.
Richmond even said it himself. Talent only take you so far in the NFL. You got to have coaching too.
And
we
guess
didn't
what?
have
I mean, that's
Austin
obvious,
Jackson
BallGame.
and
That's
Liam
obvious.
Eichenberg
You don't need
are
Richmond
trash.
to
What are we
explain that.
arguing
That's
then?
obvious.
I'm
But the
arguing
point
that.
is-
I'm arguing that if they're trash this year, do we put any responsibility on the coaches?
There's already responsibility on both parts, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying because that ain't what I'm hearing. They automatically
I'm
get a
assigning
pass.
blame
What
to
I'm hearing
both.
is they're going to get a pass
No,
regardless of the
no,
outcome this year.
I'm assigning blame to
couldn't get
both.
him-
It's
I'm gonna
coaching
say-
and personnel.
I'm gonna sit there and say they couldn't get him right. Period. So you want to take that if they couldn't coach him up enough? However, take that however you want to face it.
Or
but I'll
maybe
say
they just
couldn't get him
aren't
up.
good.
Bro, you know what I feel about Austin. Austin Jackson was my OT 10 coming out. Eichenberg was my OT 10 coming out. So no one got to tell me whether they're good or not, okay? Because I've been pretty good with offensive line the last couple of years in scouting. So, you're preaching to the fucking choir when it comes to talent with these kids, okay? So now, did I identify the athletic profile of Austin Jackson? Sure. That's why I pivoted and said, as soon as we got McDaniel, this guy's going to be our starting right tackle, because I said on air, he's the closest thing we have athletically profile-wise to Terron Armstead on this team. Whether people want to hear that or not, that's just a fucking fact. And they're going to try and coach him up because he was selected 18th overall. That's just how the politics of it works, man. So,
but regardless, man, I think we're
and they traded an extra third to move up for Eichenberg. Politics of football are going to tell you they're going to give him at least another year.
Listen. To hopefully wrap this conversation up, to clarify my point, I'm just saying you can't just assign, 100% of blame on the coaching, because if it was just about coaching,
Lemuel Jean-Pierre was a fucking moron.
Oh, he was. But my point is, if it was all about coaching, if it was just a coaching issue, well, there's no need to go get Terron Armstead. There's no need to go get Cotton Williams. You just coach up. You can just coach up what you have already in house. So obviously there was personnel as well. So all I'm saying is just plenty of blame to go around.
I agree with you, right? I say, but you got to put in coaching on that sense too, is because why were we the fucking all 6 of us jabronis on YouTube smart enough to say fucking cut the guy, but the guys who are getting paid millions of dollars to do this, they don't have the fucking foresight to say get the hell out of my team.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. It's plenty of blame to go around.
Me and EM, we talked about this. A further indictment on coaching. They let Matt Skura and Jermaine Illuminor walk. Jermaine Illuminor for the first half of the season, highest graded freaking interior player in the NFL.
That's fair.
And Matt Skura's solid next to Andrew Thomas, and Thomas takes the leap next to him. And those were veterans that they're not raw talents that you got to project them. You know what they are. The tape's out. They're veterans. They've been in the league. And Lemuel Jean-Pierre didn't have the fucking foresight to say we can use these guys. Holy fuck, bro. If that ain't coaching, I don't know what is, bro.
That is fair. And hey, listen, I'm not disputing that. All I'm saying
is coaching, it doesn't strictly mean Flores. Mm-hmm. People need to realize that too. I'm talking about like position, like Grizzard. Grizzard should have been fired too for how he used Waddle, bro. That was embarrassing for the first half of the season, bro. Embarrassing.
How did you want them to use Waddle?
There's plenty of blame to go around.
Hold on. How did you want him to use Waddle? Because every time he went deep waving his hand, the ball never came.
Yeah, but he didn't go deep a lot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How did you want him to use it? That's the only way they could use him, I thought.
Well, you could have a lot more. Well, go ahead, Martin.
Time to throw. He didn't have much time to throw. They had to do underneath.
I believe the best way to use Waddle, especially in the NFL, is to create a genuine play action pass. And this staff, I think they're going to completely commit to the run game. That's just what I foresee happening this year one. Mike McDaniel, first year as a true offensive coordinator, he's going to lean on what he knows best, which is creating a highly efficient running game. Yeah. Off of this efficient running game, I think that's where Tua is going to take his next step, because we did a disservice for Tua for putting the ball in his hands as a primary guy to start facilitating when he's not there yet. He's not ready to take that step as the primary guy.
So you do agree, Martin.
That didn't sound good.
Okay. Oh, you see. You see now.
Let him finish.
Go ahead. Go ahead. My bad. You're right. My bad.
I'm referring to not yet, meaning we still have to see how we can get
on all three
one
levels.
identity. That too.
Okay.
But we need to. I think we need
the
to
same reason why I haven't called him a franchise quarterback yet. That's what he's basically saying right now.
Yeah, we have to lean in. We have to lean into what Mike McDaniel is trying to do, and I think he's trying to establish one identity, which is a heavy run game, and then allow Tua to emerge out of that run game, just like how the Seahawks did with Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson wasn't the main dude until like his third and fourth year in the league. It took time for Russell Wilson to become Russell Wilson, but initially it was all let's run the ball with Marshawn Lynch. And I think they want to establish that type of style early on. You get Ingold as a freaking, a cleaner at fullback. You have speed guys in Mostert in Edmond, and now you got a power guy in Sony Michel. Like this is just sketching out to be. We are going to have an identity finally on offense, and Tua will finally have an opportunity to say, okay, it's not all on me just yet, because he just wasn't ready to step in that role off the jump, you know, and it has nothing to do with his talent. It was more to do because of the injury, you know.
Back to Waddle, because the Waddle was the question at hand, right? The Waddle was the question at hand. When me and BallGame and Martin would break down the film, you would see play design issues, right? You would see routes landing on top of routes that shouldn't be landing on top of each other. Another thing that I was one of the things I was continuously frustrated in show
that could be a personnel issue too,
and a clear indicator of play design and IQ with play design was how we played our bunch sets when we played. Remember BallGame and Martin? How frustrated would I get? Our bunch sets, guys. All of a sudden, every NFL defense knew how to play a bunch set against us. We could not create. That is like football 101 of getting guy into an open space or a one-on-one matchup, and they couldn't even do that out of bunch sets, man. And I was like, what the heck? And it was all because of the route design of the bunch sets. We would sit there and say, no, you got to send this guy that way, et cetera, et cetera. We would sit there and create the space out of the bunch. Like it was just bad play design. Like, let's be honest, you know, everyone knows how I feel about Gailey. We were better off with Gailey than we were with those guys last year.
And to be 100%, but to be 100%, if you think about like Dudley, you mentioned how Brian Baldinger, I forgot to say his name, bro. My bad. But Mr. Baldinger, right? Mm-hmm. He was showing all of the specific type of play designs that the 49ers ran with Mike McDaniel, right? Mm-hmm. And everything was just so crisp, so well executed, and he positioned players in so many unique ways. I'm saying to myself, once you implement that into an offense with the Miami Dolphins, and you know, Mike McDaniel mentioned it. This is the first offense. Well, not the first offensive line. He said this is one of the more you know, I'm paraphrasing, but like gifted offensive lines he's been around his entire time in the NFL. And I don't think he just said that to say it. He means it. Like these guys they're athletic. They look like they're eager to learn. If he implements the play designs and everything that he used with the 49ers, and he transitions this in year one, because like you said, Reason, the first couple of weeks, as far as the offensive play design, people are going to be like, oh, like what are they doing? Where are the keys? So it's going to be that way. But I guarantee you, once that ball actually gets rolling, and once Tua gets comfortable with the fact that you are not going to be the primary fix on offense just yet, I think that's where the comfortability comes in, the consistency starts to come in, and the efficiency starts to take another step. Because TD, you're saying Tua should be a top 12 quarterback this year, or you would like him to be a top 12 quarterback this year?
That's what I would like to see him achieve.
I agree.
But I'll tell you what, and please don't get mad at me, but there are at least 10 quarterbacks in this league right now that we will all take over to. At least 10. At least 10.
So damn! Careful, Mark. Careful.
Well, that's fair.
Careful
this
now.
league has some good quarterbacks.
Now, all the idiots gonna comment. All them damn idiots gonna comment. All them damn soft tuaneers in the comment section. Are y'all gonna call Martin a hater now? Is he a hater now?
No. But
I'm talking about all them soft females, them two non-members in the chat talking shit. Are you gonna call Martin a hater now too?
I just watched 21 people exit the room. That's what I just watched.
But I'm gonna make a point to that.
Damn soft ass
what I'm saying is,
I'm sorry, Martin. Go ahead.
There are 10 quarterbacks that you could pick over Tua right now, but that doesn't mean Tua still can't be a top performer in this league. You know, as far as just efficiency, Tua can be as efficient as anybody in this league, but that doesn't mean he has to be a top 10 talent. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna get the job done. I just believe this offense, if it's tailored around
Martin. I don't think for us to be successful overall as an offense, Tua has to hit the top 12 Mark in terms of impact. Now, I said I've been on the record. If he does, I think that could help propel this team to even a Super Bowl berth. It could be very similar to what happened with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals last year. But if Tua hits that 15 mark, and he should, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility with the talent level that he has around him. Him hitting that 15, 15 in between 12 and 15 mark. I think that will be enough production from that position to propel us to the playoffs and maybe even a playoff win.
Let me tell you why.
Let me get to 12.
Let me tell
you
you
don't
why.
Have to, I would say.
Let me tell you why.
Not this year.
Let me tell you why 12 is my number. Because 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, all of that, which is still good enough to win and maybe make it to the playoffs. I don't think that's good enough for them to say he's a part of the reason why.
He's a guy. Yeah.
So I think he needs to reach 12. I'm not sitting here saying he need to be a top 8 quarterback. 12, and I ain't gonna lie, I could be 100 with you. That ain't even gonna be easy because this league is really good.
Right.
Right.
Tough schedule too.
But at the same token, if he does achieve 12, even his biggest haters should feel good about moving on with him. Yeah. That's why I think 12 leaves that because here's the deal with Tua. The thing is, we all know we could have made the playoffs the last 2 years. The problem is the last 2 years, we had 2 games to where they take all of that efficient play out. They take all of that stuff away. Now you actually have to make godly plays to carry us. See, it's all good when you only have 2 of those in a year. But I'll be a dog if you don't think we're going to at least have 6 of them this year. I'll be if you don't think we're going to have 6 of those kind of games this year. Go look at the previous schedules compared to this one. The last 2 years you ran into the first year he had like 3 of them. Last year he had 2 of them. This year you're going to have like 6 of them. You're going to have 6 games like that where they
you think TD, so you think for us to get to the postseason, you think Tua is going to have to be a top 12 quarterback?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay,
we could get to the postseason with him being a numbers. Man,
like
think
15,
about
16.
it. Think about it. What if you want to put him at 22 last year? It was still playoff worthy. Our team.
But again, listen, he wasn't. We didn't face the teams on the schedule that we have this year, bro.
Yeah,
it's
I agree, but that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. The middle of the schedule after the first 4 weeks.
Exactly.
The middle of that schedule after that first 4 weeks is soft, and then the last 4 weeks are soft.
Yeah.
And then the last 4 weeks are hard again. You got to make your money in the middle of that schedule.
You always look at the schedule when it comes out, and you're always sitting there going, "Oh, look at this game! Look at this game."
Where do you go to run?
2020, we're going to San Fran. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're going to get our asses whipped in San Fran." We beat them 43-7 because of the injuries they had to do.
I agree with that. I'm talking about on paper.
So you lose.
I'm just talking about on paper.
I mean, that happens. You're going to lose to a team you shouldn't have lost to.
Exactly.
You know what the recipe to success? Win the games you're a favorite in, and split the games you're an underdog in. You do that, you win 12, 13 games a year, bro.
And guess what? Not on our schedule. You know how many games we're gonna be the underdog?
Well, we're opening at 3-point favorite.
Guarantee you at least 10 of our games will be the underdogs.
We're opening as a 3.5 point favorite.
That's the case.
I agree with TD. I agree with TD. I'm looking at that schedule. I'm like, yo.
Hold on. We're not going to believe we're underdog.
But your spread comes out by week. So if they're in a 3.5, they're already a 3.5 favorite over New England in week 1.
I was going to say. We're
so
the favorite
if they beat New England as a favorite, they're going to be depending on who they face. Who do they face? The Bills.
They're not going to be a favorite against the Ravens.
The Ravens. It all depends, right? It all depends. They're
not going to be a favorite against the Bengals.
What if Lamar goes down week 1, right?
They're not going to be the favorites against the Vikings, whether y'all want to believe it or not.
You never know.
I like Kirk Cousins. I like the Vikings.
That. I'm talking about if it was game 1, all of these teams that we're looking at now, it's going to change throughout the year. Hell, we could go into week 5 and be the underdog against the Jets. You never know.
Exactly.
So, but all I'm saying is,
going to be.
All I'm saying is, as it stands right now, team versus team, if they played today, we are not the favorite in at least 10 games.
So that's why I said you split those. So now we're 5-5, and you win the one you're a favorite in. That's another 7 on the schedule. So there's your 12 wins.
If we split them,
if that can happen, yeah, man.
in them.
You got to split. You got to split the games you're an underdog in. You
don't have a
split
choice in the
those,
matter.
and
You
you're
gotta win
gravy
the ones
train.
you're supposed to win.
Yeah, you win exactly in any sport. That's not just football, right?
And the problem is, what teams win all the games they supposed to win?
Exactly. Well, hey,
True.
It's 72 Dolphins, I guess. That's it.
Miami Dolphins.
Woo!
Yo,
I gotta be honest though. It feel man. I tell you, it's been a minute for me, bro. It feels good to be back on this platform with the homie Reason and
foolishness.
It feels really. It feels really good to be back home because this should be my home. But the two Anniers, they ran my rent up, so I had to move out. So I'm homeless right now, but I'm looking.
So pay attention to the comment section.
Oh man, bro, I'm always do that. Hey, I'm always do that. You know,
hate you because they ain't you, man.
They soft. All of them soft. All of them soft females, bro. Yeah, at heart.
Let's go
That's
through
what they are.
Final thoughts here, bro. This guy over here. Doug, let's start with you, man.
I had fun. It was a nice time. No, but in all seriousness, I don't even know what I was gonna say. You guys yell too much. I can't talk over you guys. I got baby in the next room. I'm reading the comments. People are like, "Tell us if you're all right, Doug. Blink twice if you need help." I'm just sitting here laughing. But no, we all make good points, especially when it comes to Tua golfing, when it comes to the team, when it comes to all that stuff. We all just want to flip and win. And I'm pretty sure EM and PD will be ecstatic if Tua ends up being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So we all love each other. I love you guys. And
don't read the comments, EM.
Don't ever read the comments.
Oh, I'm in them now. I'm in them now. Where I got a lot. I got something to close the show off with, baby. Look, I got something for all of them, baby. It's all good though.
Hold on, let me get the mute button ready. All right, TD, you're up. Final thought.
Listen, man, it's simple. In my opinion, this season is all about one man and one man only, and that is Tua Tagovailoa. So, because this year we will know if we finally have a franchise quarterback or not. And at the end of the day, it's not the regular games that we play that we run through everybody. It's going to be those 5 to 6 games I was talking about. Who is he in those moments? Who is he versus Buffalo? Who is he versus Cincinnati? Who is he versus the Chargers? Who is he versus the Browns?
Quarterback one.
Who is he? Exactly. That's all that matters to me. That's what I'm waiting on. Green Bay. Who is he in those moments? And if he rises to the occasion, I don't care what nobody say. He's the franchise quarterback for this organization. But again, he just gotta freaking do it. Do not waste. Please don't make us use them draft picks next year. Let's go get our future cornerback when we replace Byron. Let's go get our future left tackle when Armstead is no more really reliable in 2 years. Let us do that with those draft picks. Be the guy this year, show up, be what everybody that's around here killing people like me for, be what they say you are, and let's go win games, man. And that's what it comes down to. And
I want Keely Ringo so bad next year. The corner out of Georgia, he's so good.
And no golfing before games.
Yeah, I guess because you got something special for the comment section. I'll let you go last. Ball game, your final thoughts.
I'm reserving my energy for things I think really matter, man. I don't have an issue with this kid, man. Taking some time away from the game, make sure his mentals is good. As long as he show up 100% ready to prove what third year for him should be, in my estimation, a pretty good season. And they've done their part to surround him with the weapons. It's the part, he's only in charge of so much, right? Drop back, put the ball where it needs to be, let the playmakers make plays. If they can get that consistently done and establish some level of a running game, I think we'll be fine. Defense going to have to carry them for the first couple weeks anyway. This process is the same repeat thing. They got to find an identity. They're going to have to do it, hopefully, with McDaniels a lot faster than they did with Flores last year. And then just go from there. Football is really not that complex when you get right down to the nuts and bolts of it all. Whoever is best prepared should win on Sundays. There are things that are often out of your control, but at the end of the day, if the Dolphins really believe that they have the roster like we do to do some real damage this year in the league, then they just got to go out and prove it, and they just got to go out and do it as soon as possible because you can't dig yourself in a hole. Right, that's one thing for sure. It's gonna be hard to hell to dig yourself out of a hole. And I just want to see some competitive football, man. I want to see, I want to see Tyreek. I want to see Tyreek come in and do for Tua what he did for Mahomes, because I don't care what nobody say. I need to see Mahomes be Mahomes without Tyreek. So,
well, I need to see Tua be Mahomes with Tyreek.
I don't want him to be Mahomes. I want him to be Tua.
Never gonna have that arm.
Yeah,
He ain't gonna never have that on.
ever.
Ball game, you're cutting him in
Ever.
that.
No.
Ball game.
Listen, bro. No, that arm is special.
Herbert don't even have that arm.
Yeah.
Right.
Herbert just has the velocity. You don't have that.
Tua has a lot of things that.
And what you're saying
Tua
is
has a
he's
lot of
not
things
gonna,
right now.
Tyreek's gonna, take a step back. Then is what you're saying.
I mean, but Tyreek Hill.
You're saying.
Catch him in stride. Listen, you don't have to bomb it. You don't have to bomb it 60 yards to him across the body for 40 yards. You can just catch him in stride after he beat the man, after he beat the guy out the line of scrimmage.
That's what
catch him inside
Mahomes did
the
a lot
slant.
of. He
So
really
that's
didn't
right.
throw it deep all the time.
Nobody does. Nobody in the league does.
Really?
Really?
Well, yeah, Mahomes.
He didn't
You
throw it deep.
guys know Mahomes was the number one quarterback in the NFL in terms of attempts at the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah, he was. He was.
Yeah.
He was.
So you just get the ball into those guys' hands and let them make plays.
Let 'em
Yeah,
eat.
those
And-
deep balls he throw are a luxury because he
Yeah.
escaped the pocket. That's a bonus.
That's what I'm
That's
saying,
why I
though.
say
But
Tyreek's numbers can come down a little.
we have a guy that Pat Mahomes has said out of his own mouth has things and does things in his game that he wish he could do, that he wish
Yep.
he did more
Yeah,
of.
he said that about
So-
Rosen too.
No, he did.
Man.
No, he did.
Only you said that about Rosen, TV.
Ah, shut
Well,
up. Don't
excuse me.
start with me.
You and BallGame. Only you and BallGame said that
Hey,
about
man.
Rosen.
Hey, shout out to the homie Donald of San Antonio too. Don't worry, he's the Rose.
Oh, yeah,
First of all, I
I
learned
forgot
tonight.
about Donald reason.
I-
I forgot all about Donald.
First of
Damn,
all,
yeah,
I learned
Donald too.
tonight. I
Three
learned
of y'all.
tonight that if we had these coaches, Rosen would still be all right though. So
Man, that man been on 5 teams, TD. Let it go, bro.
It's
He was a
coaches.
bust.
It's the coaches.
He was a bust.
Flores
missed on your
failed that
evaluation.
man. Flores failed that
He
man.
was terrible. He missed on your evaluation. That ship is sailed. He's
He's one
done.
off season away
Flores
from being
failed
the
him.
fry guy at
Andy
McDonald's.
Reid
toast.
failed him. Matt
He's
Ryan
toast.
them failed him.
He's toast. I know that. I know that makes BallGame a little uncomfortable because he knows the kid, but
Oh,
he's toast. He's
by the
toast.
way, I'm selling 2 fanny packs. If y'all want one, go to my merch store.
Martin, go ahead, bro. Final thoughts.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. I actually want to put things into context, bro. I think just by the schedule, how I see things kind of playing out, I wouldn't be surprised if we won between 3 and 6 games. I'm just being flat out just honest from what I've.
Hey, mute
I know.
Mute him.
Come on, camera, so we can make sure
him.
it's you.
No. I'm just saying.
Games, Martin?
I'm saying.
3 to 6.
I'm saying in context, as far as matchups, as far as week to week, playoff contention.
McDaniel
I'm just saying to myself, no. But in context, what I'm saying is, I think we're going to be highly competitive in every game we play this year, just based off of the team that we have, the coaching staff that we've acquired, and honestly, there's just something I got a feeling about Tua. That boo this man.
So we add more argument.
No.
Lose games.
No, to be fair though, to be fair,
Wow.
my very absolute bottom is 7, but y'all know how situations can happen to where you just lose 3 nail biters and it's like, God, we didn't get over the hump on that. It's possible. Y'all know how things are in this NFL.
10 games, relax.
Yeah, but BallGame, we had one of the weakest schedules too, BallGame.
I don't give a damn, bro.
How many playoff teams we beat last year, BallGame?
Well,
How many playoff teams we beat?
Well, last year, hold on. Our strength of schedule heading into the year last year, we were top 3. This year, we're 21.
And when it was at the end of the season, what was our schedule ranked?
Exactly.
We didn't beat any playoff teams, but the Patriots.
How did,
Did we beat
Did we beat any playoff teams the year before? Too?
The Rams, right?
The Rams.
The Rams.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
but-
Did we play them that year?
But San Francisco didn't make the playoffs in 2020.
Oh, but
2021.
we didn't play anybody. This is this schedule, man. If you look at
Not
previous
that-
playoffs,
It's
here's
not
the
that
thing.
deep, bro. That middle of the schedule is softer than baby
all
food,
game.
man.
Why you
Yeah,
keep
it is.
saying the middle of the
It
schedule
is.
soft? First
You
of
got
all,
the- bro,
see,
you got
the
the-
Vikings is the exact type of game we'll go in
Lions.
thinking we'll win. The Vikings are in the middle. The Steelers, we just gonna automatically think we gonna win.
We're
it.
gonna like Kenny Pickett up.
Yeah, okay. But I get the Lions
They got a
and
top
Bears,
defense, bro.
but
They got a
but
top
the
defense.
Browns,
Yeah, but-
okay, you don't
Mhm.
know. And this is all in the middle. San Francisco in the middle, the Chargers middle,
Mhm.
Hey, Lance,
then the back end. It ain't no
Outside,
easy middle.
it is.
Yo,
It's
we just
soft.
gonna the Browns game. We're just gonna. Y'all ever seen the movie Celtic Pride?
Listen,
We're just
No,
gonna
I
do it
haven't.
with a deuce.
I
We're
know
gonna
one
do it with a
thing.
deuce instead of Wayne's,
I know
bro.
one thing. We better beat the
Oh
Browns.
no,
We better beat the Browns.
we gonna see. But
See, yo,
essentially,
I'm not
I
even
know
worried
one
about.
man
I'm
better
not
not
even-
light us up.
I'm not. Well, I'm not even worried about him. I'm worried about Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in that game because I haven't seen our
Yeah.
run defense yet. That's what I'm worried about.
Watson might not even be playing.
Oh, he'll be playing.
I-
They're talking 4
He
games.
might be suspended.
They're talking 4 games.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I still think the Dolphins are going to be highly competitive in every game that they play. I'm just looking at like the
That's
context.
not good
of,
enough this year, my friend. That ain't good enough. We gotta get dubs, baby.
And you know what we also need to
We
do?
got
We
it.
need some
Everybody's
blowouts.
competitive every week. We
We
need
need
wins,
some
bro.
blowouts too for this
We
team
need wins.
confidence.
That ain't good enough.
We
Yeah.
need a few
Okay.
blowouts.
Okay.
And
Too
those
much
bum
talent. It's
teams-
way too much talent on this team, bro, to be No, that's not the objective. The objective is to get wins. Too talented, bro.
You gotta get
We got
in
a
the
roster.
playoff. The
We have a
objective is to
roster
get in the
on both
playoff.
sides of the football when you compare with the upper tier teams in entire NFL, we can go position by position with all of them. No,
Right.
the expectation.
What's going to separate the weapons by weapons for each team though?
Let me ask you a
Continuity,
question.
bro.
Well,
It's going to be
Gels
coaching.
faster.
Who added
Gels
more?
faster.
Who added more to their team this all season? Jets or Dolphins?
Dolphins.
That's
You think so?
debatable.
You think so?
That's debatable.
Yeah, because we
I
added.
think
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
we
It's-
added
hold on.
experience and they added
Yeah,
youth.
exactly. We added proven commodities. They added
Alright.
projections.
Okay.
Mm.
I ain't knocking that, but
And
I'm
we
telling
can
you,
Right.
I ain't saying
I'm
it on the
not
Jets.
putting
Y'all
no
can-
damn
y'all can
rookies
say-
over veterans, bro.
Y'all
No, I
can
ain't
say
talking
what you want
just the
about.
rookies, man.
Y'all can say what you want
Who
about.
else?
We can say what you want about Tua, but we got that position more right than the Jets did. so
They get
far.
Lawson back.
No, I agree with that.
Who
I
else?
agree with that.
Who else, TD?
Be
They
careful,
get Lawson
bro.
back, possibly.
Zach still
Who
got an
else?
arm.
We'll see. We'll see about game. I just
Bro,
know
you
one
see
thing.
that
I'm gonna lose.
I'm just
I'm
no.
gonna
I'm
lose
not.
my
No,
brain. I'm gonna lose my
Yeah.
brain if we split with the Jets.
Did you see that throw yesterday from Zach Wilson? Everyone wants to talk about an underthrow from Tua. This guy throws a 5-yard hitch towards the sideline, turning Braxton Berrios' hitch route into a freaking whip route. I'm like, bro, that's pick, bro. The guy
That was a dime. Reason that was
No,
a dime.
dude.
That's a pick six. That's a pick six.
Bro, you want to say how much it was a pick six ball game? Dude,
Oh,
he threw the ball to Berrios as Berrios was breaking into his hitch. It's at the top of his route.
Man.
You got to throw that ball when he turns around on that hitch. I was like, oh, bro, we good. We're going to pick that guy off 2 or 3 times a game, bro.
I'm not concerned
No.
about that, Wilson.
Yeah,
Not
I
at
ain't
all.
concerned about that team at all.
I mean, we gonna see Zach.
I didn't really concerned
honestly,
about
bro,
Mac Jones while you bullshitting.
I honestly think that Zach Wilson might take a step.
I'm worried about the run
The
game.
best thing, the best thing,
but
the
we-
Jets ha-
run
the best,
game.
the best thing the Jets have is
I always have a run game.
the best
How'd
thing the
that
Jets
work out for
have.
them last year?
The best thing the Jets
Now
have
they got their
is Zach
50-50
Wilson's
guy.
mother. Okay.
And I got a 50-50.
Oh wow!
Think about
The
it.
best thing
We
on the New
had
York
the
Jets.
ball game. Last year we had what they didn't, and that's why we won.
Oh Lord.
We had what they didn't last
Josh is
year.
about to get lit
A
up.
50-50 guy who flipped the field on that when they were beating us. He flipped the field and we finally scored that touchdown. We had what New England didn't have last year, and that was Parker on the 50-50.
If they
in
are
a tough game.
if they are putting their hopes on the shoulders and back,
No, of course not. I just think that's an added feature.
of
All
Devontae
right.
Parker.
That ain't what you were saying when he was a Dolphin ball game. That ain't what you were saying.
But
Oh,
guess
that
no,
what?
don't do that. Don't
I'm
do
kidding.
that.
I'm trolling, ball.
Oh,
I'm trolling.
okay.
I'm trolling.
Listen,
I know one thing.
Someone
I know
tell
one
me
thing. We
who.
did not
who
lose in week 1.
Who in that Patriots roster scared on that secondary? They just drafted like a 5'9" quarter out of Houston. Who the hell am I worried
That dude
about
raw.
right now?
I'm not worried about any of them, but I do respect Bill Belichick. I don't
That's all
care
I
who
got.
on
I
the
agree with
field.
that.
At this
I
point,
agree
that's
with
what
that.
we
Who
do.
on
We
the
all
field.
respect him.
To be fair, the AFC East, North, and West is ridiculous as far as roster to roster. It's
stupid.
I'm just trying to make sure
West
that
is
we're
dumb.
aware that there are other teams
Yeah.
in this conference that are ridiculous as
We go
far as
5-1 in the division.
players.
5-1 in the division, Martin. 5-1
Yep.
I hope so,
Game,
man.
Marcus.
The
I hope
game,
so.
I'm telling y'all, the
Ooh,
game that
wee.
determines
I
our
like that.
season
I
will
like
be the
that.
Green Bay Packers. That will on Christmas Day. I'm telling you, that game is going to determine our season.
Man, why does it got to be on Christmas
Mm.
Day, man?
I said Tennessee was going to be the game that determined our season last year, didn't I, EM?
You right. You
I
right.
kept saying 5 weeks before the game, I said that's the game that's going to determine the season. This year is that Green Bay game 3 weeks before the season is over. That's going to be the defining moment for our
Who's he
season.
throwing to?
I don't know. And that's good for us right now.
Right.
EM, your final thoughts, bro.
Oh, Lord.
Man, I tell you, bro. Wow,
We all
it
just
feels
leave.
good. It feels good. It feels good to be back. It really does, bro. Seriously, it feels good to be back on this platform with all these Titans in this community. Martin, salute to you, bro. We need to chop it up real soon, privately, man. We hadn't talked in a while.
Damn you, Trey.
Doug, it's always a pleasure. I didn't mean to rough you up a little bit earlier, but it's all love, baby.
Man, what the hell?
Ball game. You know how we do, bro. You know how we do. You know it. You know how I feel about you personally, but we get a little heated sometimes when we have disagreements. But it's all love. TD foolish talk.
You guys are on the same team.
It's always a pleasure, TD, for the most part. I got to be honest, for the most part. And reason you already know what time it is. And, but yeah, it's real good to be up here with these Titans, man, and to being able to engage in a dialogue about our team, bro. Shout out to everybody that support the platform. Y'all already know Reason does quality, content on this channel, man. And, salute to everybody that's always showing up and supporting the homie love and everything. Doug and TD as well. So salute to everybody that support their respective platforms. But with all that being said, with all that being said,
but
listen, it's my first night. It's my first night back home. I'm gonna let them idiots make it. I'm gonna let them make it. There will be plenty of time in the upcoming season for me to address all these soft two members, whatever you want to call them. It will be plenty of time for that. Now is not the time because I'm tired as hell, to be honest with you. But anyway, we listen. We got a lot to look forward with our team, bro. We can have disagreements at this point in time, but from I think TD alluded to this earlier about the positivity that's coming out that we're hearing. Now, again, and we know it's early, and they're in their draws right now. Yeah, they're in their Hanes underwear right now. It's still early. There's so much football and so much development that needs to take place. But to hear the positivity coming out about Tua at this point in time is a direct contradiction of what we've heard the previous 2 years. And that alone is positivity. So it's positive enough. And so hopefully Tua can continue to stack good practice up, on top of each other, so he could truly become the player that we all believe that he can become. And so, man, I tell you, I still feel like I'm dreaming because of the overall talent that this team, that Chris Greer and, the front office has assembled, man. It's just like, I've never seen all the years, that I've been following the Dolphins, to the point where I really had an understanding of football and really got passionate about this team. I've never seen a more talent-laden roster that we have right now. And that is so encouraging moving forward, but with that, what comes with that talent, expectations come with that as well. And the expectations this year is greatness. And that is that is with the team, that is with the coach, that is with Tua Tagovailoa as well. So, but yeah, I think we all know and believe Tua can be successful, this year. And we just can't wait, man. Let's just look forward to the offseason. here, OTAs and ultimately training camp in the preseason, ultimately the regular season. And let's just look forward to it, man. We can engage and have all these spirited debates. It's all fun and games for the most part. But there's just tons of positivity. There's tons of look forward, for our team this year. And let's just get it, baby. And as always, it's always fins up, baby. You know what it is, all day, every day.
Come buy those fanny packs. I got fanny packs, 2 for $10. Come through.
This guy. All right, guys. We're gonna get out of here. I want to say this though, guys. I know TD, you had to leave like an hour and a half ago.
The wife came through and said I was good.
Bro, I just gotta I appreciate all y'all.
Now.
Yeah, I know. I'm still
yeah.
Wait, is that the homie D1 in there trolling like that? Oh, damn.
Damn, so is.
Damn, TD. Is that the Reason drop that link for the homie D1 real quick. D1 been talking a lot of shit. He been talking real greasy in the comments. Let's see if he gonna come up on his platform. Let's see if he gonna bring that same heat on his platform. I see you, D1. Drop that link, Reason. Drop the link for the homie, bro.
I'll drop the link
me, D1.
for backstage, but
drop the link. Drop the link for the homie. He been talking too breezy tonight.
I'll drop it for backstage, but bro, we don't. This isn't.
Oh no, we need to go live with that one, Reason. Bro, we need to go live with that one,
bro.
No, don't deprive the fan base. Don't deprive the fan base of that engagement, please.
D1 don't want this heat, man. He know better.
I bet he don't come. He ain't coming. I bet he won't come. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. D1, don't make me cut. Hey, D1, don't disappoint me, bro.
D1, I'm gonna give you.
I dropped it for backstage. Yo,
D1, I'm gonna give you a free fanny pack, bro. Come on. I got you,
all right, guys. We're gonna get out of here. I appreciate it's already been 2.5 hours, 12 o'clock. All of you guys, I appreciate you for. I thought we'd only go for like an hour and a half.
Salute, homie.
You guys for giving so much time to this fan base and also to this channel, man. It was a good talk, good times. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and as always, subscribe to everyone up here who has a channel. And as always,
day, every day, baby.
Fins up all day, every day.
Don't run, D1. Don't run now.